This is your first day. Your designation will be RP-01/138. We expect great things from you. You have been born into dangerous times. A sharp mind can be the key to survival. But as often as not, it will be your inherent physical traits that win the day. And in this regard, you will be superior to your more common brethren. For you are a commando, an elite unit, something truly special. Your weapons, your armor, and most importantly, your brothers.
All right then, listen up.
Delta Squad, form up.
Forming up, boss.
What is up, my fellow Republic Commandos? It is your boy Trey of the Bat Channel. We are live once again in the galaxy far, far away. Finally, probably, hopefully, I don't know, talking about one of the last few times, Star Wars The Acolyte, Episode 8. We're going to do a deep dive into the finale, maybe talk about some of the things that maybe you guys didn't catch, and to talk about if some of these big moments that happened were earned, throughout the season. It's been, if you've been watching our breakdowns throughout this show, it's as people who were really, really looking forward to the show. You can check out our trailer reaction if you don't believe us. People who are really looking forward to the show, really hoping for the best and just like excited to see it. This show in many ways didn't deliver, but maybe after we talk it out, maybe the finale, I've heard some people say this episode saved the season. Can one episode really do that? Can one episode save the season? Let's talk about it. But first off, let's go through all the little pleasantries real quick of the show. It's great to see everyone here. First off, I just want to say thank you to everyone who came out for our Twisters watch party. As you know, we are raising money through our super chats for the American Red Cross Disaster Relief Fund. We raised over $100. Great job, guys. That's all going to be going to those who have been affected by tornadoes this year. Over 1,300 tornadoes already this year. 1,300. It's insane. So the fact that our community is able to help out just a little bit with those families that are dealing with all those tragedies right now, it really means a lot to us. So make sure to follow us on our social media pages like TikTok, Instagram, Twitter at _Batchone, because I will post when we actually get the check from YouTube that we can just put it right in to the American Red Cross so you guys can see where your super chat dollar went. And of course, Corey and I always add a little bit extra for our personal donation that we do. But I just want to say I appreciate you guys for really joining us on that. And we did see Twisters last night, my Wonder Wife and I believe Super Bro Corey saw it as well. So we'll be doing a spoiler-free and spoiler review of that movie. So make sure you guys, you already know, smash that like, share this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. We want to hit this 10K so that we can do these donation streams and not have to deal with the silly super chat stuff where YouTube takes out like 40% of the super chat, and it just goes directly to the American Red Cross. So help us get there, and we can only do that with your guys' help of spreading the word about the battalion with the Bat Channel. We need you. We need you. Now, guys, without further ado, let me bring out the best co-host I could ever ask for, Super Bro Corey. How's it going, big fella?
I haven't seen a show this bad for over a millennium.
You okay there, Corey?
What's up, Trey?
I was about to say, did the tinfoil hat gain return, you know?
Nope. It was just my Candy Monday. Well, I guess Candy Monday is kind of a tinfoil hat guy now. So
maybe.
Yeah, well, he's a conspiracy theorist. He's like, oh no, there's no Sith. We're gonna hide some stuff, you know, like it makes sense now. It all makes sense actually why his head's like that.
Oh man. to keep everyone from, you know, messing with his mind, you know. Super Bro, I heard buddy. you saw Twisters as well last night.
Well, you know what they say, if you feel it,
chase it.
Dude, that movie was so good. So good.
Did you? Okay, we'll leave it to that, but I was curious to hear your first little reaction to it.
I can't wait to talk about it.
Cool. I am too. There's a few things where as weird as it's going to sound, it may have benefited the movie a little bit from coming off of the Acolyte, where I've seen storytelling not at its finest with the Acolyte, and you know, a lot of plot holes, a lot of things not explained, and things just kind of the ball dropped in the writer's room, compared to a movie that had a solid story, that was smooth storytelling, that answered the questions I had, and did a good job executing. It made me appreciate when I see that more. You know, when I saw Twister, it's like, okay, this is how you do it. You know, this right here. You know?
Yes, right. I don't want to get into that portion too much because I do want to talk about that. Like, you know, this is how you create your own story from an IP. You know, like this is how you do it. You know, if anybody's listening, this is how you do it with Twisters. And it, like, I enjoyed it to the point where I already have another movie, Twisters 3. What would they call it? Twisters 2. I have another movie concept in my head that they could possibly go for with it. So
interesting. Okay, I'm curious when you talk about that during our spoiler review. But Corey, let's not waste any more time. Let's go ahead and bring out our co-host, who's been with us throughout the Acolyte, and I appreciate him so much because he's helped us look at things a little differently, and I'm hoping that maybe he'll do it tonight because I have something to tell you guys when I have everyone on here. But guys, you know our boy on the Delta Squad, Mr. Lord Koj himself. What's up, big fella?
Hey, what's up, guys?
How's it going, dude?
Oh, it's going good. Happy to be part of Delta Squad, and happy we're done with Acolyte.
You know,
what's up, Wayne Enterprises?
It's Here's what I was going to tell you guys. So after the watch party, you may have like saw me kind of go, dude, like actually I didn't think that was the best episode yet. You know, there was actually some things I liked about it. I even said that to my wife. I was like, you know what, I'm conflicted about this one because I think there's things I liked about it. And I was not expecting that. Now I do what I always do. You know, once I react with you guys during the watch party, you get my initial reaction of it. And I'm slightly distracted during the watch party. It's true. Slightly distracted because of the chat. You know, you're doing all the YouTuber things, so you don't see everything. You miss a little, maybe a sentence, maybe a word that could really define the show. And, you know, after rewatching it, I went back and I was kind of like, you know what, I was wrong. The two things I liked about this particular episode were so generic and so didn't really affect the story in any way to make a real difference of how I feel about this show. So after I got done watching it, my second time getting ready for our breakdown today, I was kind of like, okay, I have solidified how I feel about it. So, out of curiosity, did any of you get to rewatch it again? Corey, did you get a chance?
Oh yeah. I after watching this series, I really thought to myself, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna do what we do with every single watch party streams that we do. I'm going to rewatch the series, and I sat down on my bed, I turned on the TV, and didn't watch a single repeat of these episodes. So I'm so done with it. So no, I didn't need to watch it again though, but because Trey, I remember you saying that during the live stream, and I called you out on it right away. What did I say, Trey? What did I say?
It's something to the effect of you can't make
chicken salad
out
of chicken shit. Yes, you are right, Trey. So no, that's how I felt about it. So no, I didn't need to rewatch it again to know it was bad.
What's up, Darth Starkiller Unleashed? Is this your first time? I don't recall.
This is his first time here, so welcome.
Hey, welcome,
Killer
dude.
Unleashed. Yep.
And Darth Starkiller, I dig that. That's cool.
Yeah,
I love Force Unleashed.
Me too.
And
that's a great game.
Read by participants of discussion. Yes, it is. Hamza Destal.
No, it's not.
We get there.
It is not. We do. I mean, we do go through a discussion. We try to bring up, especially if there's something like you want really read, as long as it's appropriate, you can always do super chat, so that way we can highlight it. We can always find a little fun way to say thank you with our clips. But yeah, I mean, if there's something you really have like a question on, I always recommend like do super chat, so that way it pops up on our StreamYard thing, so that way we can see it more clearly. But yeah, I mean, of course we read your guys' discussions because we want to know what you guys are thinking as well. Let me ask the first question in the room, because I've seen not a lot. It's still mostly negative in terms of what social media. What's up, Tim? Good to see you. Basil is my truth. Apparently, Basil is the truth to all the Jedi.
I like it on my Italian food.
Right. Did this episode save the show for you? Did it save the entire season?
Nope.
No. Super. I mean, go ahead, Koj.
Well, I don't know, like a bad song. There could be like a guitar solo at the end. That's awesome. But I'm not ever going to listen to the whole song. It's kind of feels like that.
Okay.
It's I don't know. It's like with the chicken salad shit analogy. I mean, to me, it's also like really well seasoned poop. It still doesn't change that it's poop.
Yeah. That's fair. You know,
Sorry, it's harsh.
no. I mean, it. I always try. I mean, people find this funny, but like I do try. Like once I've had my initial reaction, I react as a fan first, and then when I come at it as when I do the breakdown, watch it the second time right before, I try to watch it with the understanding of like, okay, maybe the writer had a reason for the decisions they made. So let's try to look at it through that angle and see if I can find some things that maybe I can appreciate about the choices they made. For this particular show, it's been a bit of a struggle on that end. I can't always make sense of the things they are doing. And especially when they finally did a lot of big reveals in episode 7. I did say episode 7 and episode 3 were the make it or break it episodes for this show. And I feel like episode 7 especially did not do what it needed to do to make episode 8 better. To give it that bow tie ending. And I'm not saying like, well, of course they're going to lead to something further upon it. I mean, I was expecting that, but to tie up some loose ends of what this entire season was building up to, and I don't think it's episode 7 supported their decisions to make the audience feel for what the characters chose to do in the end. And we'll definitely get into that some. Corey, who's all in the chat? Who can we say hello to today?
Yeah, we have quite a people here, by the way. We have Crazy Craig.
What's up, Crazy Craig?
Crazy Craig wrote an can't talk today. Oracle's Clock Tower. Trevor H. # Restore the Snyderverse Guide. Bat Fanatic. Red Robin. Atomic Kaiju 1954. Akio Lee. Wayne Enterprises. We have Good Soldiers Follow Order 66. King Donkey Kong. Red Hooded Outlaw. We have Beyond the Night, The Butler, Carrie Kelly, The Batman Who Laughs, 9 Lives in Hell here, Joker's Wild, Darth Starkiller Unleashed. That's not it. We have Ryan Swayze in the house. We have Tim Talk. We have Hamza Dastal, like I said. We have the Batman. I may have missed some people. If I did, I'm sorry. Welcome. People are filing in as we speak. What was the episode 8 called, right?
Okay, so here's part of the funny part about this particular episode. When we turned on the watch party, right?
Yeah.
It was right when the show got released. So all they titled it was episode 8.
Oh, great.
Out of all the other episodes, they actually gave us a title each of the other episodes when it premiered. This episode, they didn't want it to be revealed. They wanted it to be a secret. You know what the big secret of the episode title was? The Acolyte. That's all it's called. Episode 8 is called The Acolyte.
Oh.
That's it.
I think it's
didn't Kamir say, I need to find my Acolyte? Maybe that's what the whole show is about the whole time. Who is going to be the Acolyte? And why?
I mean, I guess we did a bit of the flipperoo with May and Osha, but yeah.
And still, I ask why. That's my biggest problem. That's how that didn't save the show at all for me.
I'm actually going to rename it to Chicken Salad Out of Chicken Shit.
Jesus.
No, I like episode 8 because I feel like this whole Acolyte is along the vein of The Last Jedi, where the Jedi are depicted as giving up and opposite of their determination of building the Jedi Temple and making assumptions off of weird, odd feelings and not really meditating it out like we know that they do, and pretty much taking all the classic heroes before and punishing them by making them incompetent or killing them or both. And the new heroes are the cool ones made by Disney. That's this theme I constantly get from Last Jedi and all stuff like this.
I did like the question Hansa asked, and Hansa, we'll save that. So hold on to that. Make sure you stick around because we are going to kind of
Episode 8.
break apart the whole Darth Plagueis scene, which Super Bro Corey and I kind of predicted was going to happen when we did our trailer reaction. We both kind of theorized, I'm pretty sure Plagueis is going to show up in this somewhere. Like, he's going to be the guy. He's going to be the villain behind the scenes. He ended up being just a cameo, but I mean, what it suggests, we'll talk about it. Is that your blue Tuscan Raider drink, the Bat Channel? Yes, it is. I decided I needed a drink early today.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Yep. I made what is it? A White Russian, but instead it's a blue Tuscan. That's what I call it. Yeah. Even Wonder Wife looked at me and she was like, seriously, it's not even 11 yet. And I was just like, I need it. I need it today.
Acolyte.
Do you guys just want to get into it? You just want to break it down?
Yeah.
Where do we begin?
All right. So yeah, episode 8, The Acolyte. It's a very, very important title. It's what the whole show is based on.
That was really dramatic, Sherry.
It is really dramatic. I don't know why the big secret of to like keep it quiet and then to reveal. It's The Acolyte, like The Acolyte episode 8 titled The Acolyte. Okay. Anyways,
if they would have told us episode 8 was called The Acolyte, guess what? Nobody would have cared anyway. Either way,
right? Like that was supposed to be like something that like, ooh, if we tell them that's called The Acolyte, it was going to tell them what was going to happen. I'm like, okay.
I'm surprised they just didn't leave the show untitled. I actually found footage of what Leslie Hadland wanted to call it.
What she want to call it?
Chicken salad out of chicken. That's what we are. We chicken.
That's what we are.
Is that
We're
Brock
chicken
Lesnar from UFC days?
That's Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, I think maybe. Yeah, that was Brock Lesnar.
Oh my god!
UFC Brock Lesnar.
My name is Paul Heyman. No. Okay. So this was actually the longest episode yet, and I will say this episode felt slightly better than the others for the simple fact that it was longer. I feel like they had a little more time to flesh things out, but it's still not enough to save this episode. But we start off with some heavy breathing.
What is Trey doing?
That was more suspenseful than the Acolyte altogether.
Oh my gosh. It starts off with some heavy breathing, but Osha, she begins to have some sleep apnea. She really needs to get a better mask. But she's seeing the future of May killing Soul without a weapon. So she's going to complete the mission that Kamir put her on. And at this point, Kamir's like, okay, well, we need to go find her because, if she achieves what I need her to do, well, clearly she's ready to be my Padawan now. And Osha's kind of like, well, then I'm going to, because I need to find her to stop her from completing her mission. So these two have competing goals, but they're very chill about it. Both are kind of just like, well, I guess we have one ship. And
they even carpool, right?
Yeah. It's just to fulfill the sexual tension that is between these two that came out of nowhere. Just to, I don't know. What was your thoughts on simply that? The fact that we get this weird, like, Kamir is starting to feel the darkness within her. She's having this vision that almost kind of gives the same reaction that Tobin had with Mother Anastasia, yeah. When he kind of goes in his trance, but he's able to get the helmet off her, and she tells him her vision of the future. And the fact that they both have competing goals, and they decide, well, we have one ship. Let's just go together as friends, even though we completely disagree on how we're going to handle this situation. Thoughts? Go, Jay.
They're just missing the one scene when they're like, all right, who wants to ride shotgun? Who's driving? And then when they get there, they needed a countdown. It's like, all right, we're here. Let's see who gets my sister first. All right, 3, 2, 1, let's go. That's all they missed, really. I mean,
it was like a game for them. It was kind of weird. Like,
it should have came off as a game. That would make it more entertaining. But they were more like, let's see who gets there first, or something. There was like a mystery, or there's like some kind of flexing, or I don't know. It's just, again, this is my problem with the show. Consistently, they have all these, big choices that really didn't have any lead up or solid follow through to the next big choice. That's just like, feels like random, but they just want the characters all to be in certain places, so they give them these lines that just make no sense or team up, or and it has nothing to do with Star Wars. It's again just bad. It's like, do they care about characters having any solid motive at all that makes any sense to any character arc or journey, good or bad?
I had a friend.
It's just sloppy, man. I don't get it.
I'll put this in there. I had a friend tell me, like, he said, wouldn't it be boring if your characters stayed the same throughout, if they had the same motives throughout?
Not the same motives. It's motives that build, that see, motives is what drives the character, and what drives the character is how do they get to their goals and what's in their way. And the thing is that this show keeps having them do choices that go left field from what their motive is, you know? Even from the beginning, like, yo, kill a Jedi without a weapon. She's running around with daggers. Who's that? Is it not a dagger? It's a staple remover. It's like, I don't get it, you know? They have these little weird things that don't add up like that.
That's fair. Super Bro, your thoughts about two characters that have competing goals and they're just gonna ride together.
Yep.
Yeah, it seems like we're just going to take a field trip together. You know, this dude is clearly an evil, you know, guy, and he's killing people. She's seen him kill, you know, numerous Jedi, you know, and like, oh, you know, we're gonna go together. You know, it shows that she doesn't have any morals, you know, like that she doesn't have any business ethics. She doesn't. It just shows how weak of a character she is. And I tell you what, that was an issue the entire way. And whichever friend said that, I completely disagree with you know, having the same, you know, mission, same goal the entire time, because this was chaotic. That's the best way to explain it. They didn't know what their morality, they didn't know what they stood for. They didn't. They flip-flopped more than, you know, a politician nowadays. You know, and during election season, you know, it was freaking wild. It was, you know, like dog brain, fish brain, you know, squirrel. You know, like they had like were constantly like. It was such a roller coaster ride of like, oh, I'm going to do this today, I'm going to do that today, you know, and like nothing made sense. So the storytelling of it was just awful, you know, like what are we doing here? Like, oh, we know that, you know, she kind of wants to be a Jedi, that she struggled with some things, and then, wait a second, now she's going off with this guy. Oh, wait, now she wants to be a Jedi again. Oh, wait, you know, like it was just, it was confusing. Like I'm confused, you know, like it was, yeah. It was trash writing, and they try to make it like the writers and the creator are so bad at telling a story that the only way that they know they can, the only way they think to make and create drama and try to tell a good, like, compelling story that keeps you on the edge of the seat is by just having characters that flip a 180 every, you know, 5 seconds.
They very much are so flexible in their story that, like, really however the writer needs them to be used, they can bend to that. And and it maybe that they thought that would be entertaining, that the audience couldn't really get or understand what these characters were going for or what they were trying to achieve. But to me, I feel like to have to not really understand your character's goals or what they're trying to get done throughout the story, kind of it makes them hard to, if none of them have moral compass, then how can we, be along the ride of this journey with them, other than they're constantly, making decisions that fit the moment, but maybe not the overall big picture. None of the characters' motives except Chimera's make sense. Yeah, Chimera was like the only character that he was just a...
But not even really Chimera as well. Not even Chimera really as well, because he was like, oh, May can't do it. I'm going to take this girl now. I'm going to take Osha, see if she can do it. And then, wait a second.
To me, that was just his overarching commitment to wanting a Padawan. He didn't give a shit who it was, which is, to me, that was
got that.
A very Sith thing to do, because Siths are okay if they just pass along, like, forget this Padawan, or until they find a better student. We saw the Emperor do that many times. I mean, Count Dooku was his boy, and then all of a sudden he found someone better, and he was just like, peace, cut his head off,
But yeah, I would say probably Chimera has the most consistency of character in this whole show, probably. But again, they do like the Sith. But yeah, I want to just add a little bit more to that motive and consistency. Consistency and motive doesn't really mean that your character doesn't change. It's really how they try and meet their goals, and when they can and can't, how that changes their character. Then they have certain revelations on that goal, that those things they don't do in the show at all. They don't really show any merit as to what led up to this decision, to their goals, to find another goal or continue with, because everything seemed like a reset of their things, of their emotions and their end game goal, and it keep changing. And when it changed or didn't change after horrendous stuff, like, is she just gonna be like, it's like she cared more about Chimera's back, muscles, and booty than her friends that she's known for a while being slaughtered by the same dude.
Yeah, and I love a lot of what people are saying in the chat. There's some like really good conversations going on that I feel like I'm going to try to, because it's the episode 8 breakdown, to really focus on this one episode story. But I feel like a lot of you are bringing up conversations that we are definitely going to have. If this is your first time hanging out with the Bat Channel, anytime we review these TV shows episode by episode, we always do one more episode at the end of the season that we talk about, okay, now we've seen point A to point Z. Let's talk about, was the journey worth it? What did they get right? What did they get wrong? If they do go to another season, where do we go from here? And I think a lot of what you guys are discussing, like We Go Jinx, Star Killer, and Vol, like, you guys are really bringing up some great points that we are definitely going to bring up. I've noted it myself and was like, yeah, we're going to talk about that. So great discussion going on in the chat, guys. Anyways, they decide that they're going to go on this mission together, right? But we go to Sol and May, which we know Sol just... He came out. He told her the truth. Told May everything that happened from his point of view. And, of course, she's pissed off, but she's bounded to the table. And, God... Sol and May have reached Rendok, and he plans to, he tells her, he's like, hey, I plan to contact Master Vernestra to have them meet them there so they can investigate this virgins. Because to him, that's the miracle all about this. It's all about this virgins that created these two girls from the Force, the thread, however you want to freaking look at it. And all while Sol is talking, and May's kind of getting him emotional about the situation, May uses the, faculty setting pip to escape from her bonds. Sol was completely unprepared for it. Like, here's a Jedi Master who literally, Chimera, is afraid to take off his helmet because he doesn't want Sol messing around in there. To a emotional Sol who's like, can't even tell that this girl is going. First off, he didn't even think to take off Pip when he bounded her. He didn't see the giant block in her pocket to be like, well, that probably needs to be removed. One of the biggest issues with the show is how dumb they make the Jedi.
I made it make sense, Trey. It makes sense to me now. Like, I just had an epiphany. You know, it makes sense when the Force is a threat. You know, Soul was hanging on by a thread. So yeah, you know, it just makes sense now. It's not the Force. It's a thread. So they don't know what's going on. It's, you know, it's the thread, Trey.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a tightly woven story. It's just a thread.
A thread, a single thread.
Yeah, I mean, one of the parts that super broke Corey and Koj, maybe it might be fair to say that you as well, when you first heard about the show, one of the characters we were really looking forward to was Jung Jae Lee as Soul. He's a wonderful actor. He kicks ass, you know, and to hear him get this role, we were like, oh, Jung Jae Lee's gonna freaking kill it. He's gonna be amazing.
Be Jung Jae.
And the writers ruined him. Like, they just each episode, he started off really cool, interesting, you know, there's something about him. He had this attachment to the girls, and then throughout the entire season, getting into episode 8 was just like the cherry on top of just how pitiful this dude is. The fact that he let his emotions get the best of him. He couldn't even sense that May was breaking out of her bondage, and is able to electrocute him. So much for the Jedi-like reflexes when she's... Yeah. It's another thing that is incredible to me is that, like, May still blames Soul for what happened 16 years ago completely on him. And
well, what about Kamir killing her homegirl like 16 hours ago in the story?
You're talking about Osha's homegirl, Jackie?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, May's a bit of a different story, right? But like, but with May, she talks about just how she words it, how she explains her reasoning of why it's Soul. Soul is the issue here in her eyes. She says, "You guys, my family did nothing to you. You guys invaded our planet. You killed my mother. You know, and." So it irritates me, and this is where I say the weak episode of the previous one, episode 7, where they reveal to us the other side of the story of what happened on Brendok 16 years ago. We know the Jedi didn't invade. They were not aggressive. They were not rude even. They were not even looking for a fight. It was Mother Coral who set everything in motion. She was the one that had all the witches get the arrows ready to go, telling them, get ready to fight. We're not going to let them take our girls, even though the head mother, Anastasia, said, we're going to let, you know, Osha has decided she wants to be a Jedi. I'm going to go let her do it. Everything could have been solved if Mother Coral just didn't come out swinging and trying to cause a problem. So for, like, May... completely
witches attacked first.
Yeah, witches literally did attack first, and her mother turned into this weird demon creature that was like sucking her in. I mean, granted, she was probably like, "Oh, I've seen Mom do this before. It's no big deal." Her common holiday Halloween trick. You know?
Mother Anastasia attacked the mind of a Jedi. How?
Exactly. So Soul had every reason to be defensive in that situation. So if you want to put really, you can't even put the entire blame on Soul. Did Soul make a bad call? Sure, but you could tell he regretted the situation. I don't think he did at all. Well, I mean,
and how does that story warrant May to be still angry?
Yeah,
because he told that to her, mother, right? Yep. She saw her mother get everybody fired up as well too.
So then she could go, "Oh, this is the one who started it, Mother Coral." But even after that revelation, she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill you."
The mistake Soul made was he didn't slaughter all the witches right then and there.
Well, that would have not been a very Jedi-like thing to do. But I think the part that like irritated me more about this episode is she's trying to escape, right? She's getting on the ship, and the door is closing, and it's one of those scenes where like consistency of the Jedi. Oh, let's see. We Go Jing says, "I'm afraid Mother Coral's still alive. She will travel to the Night Sisters lair, and Disney will make her Darth Maul mother or grandmother." Oh, that's an interesting point.
I'm calling it right now. She is still alive. If there's a season 2,
she definitely
isn't she the hand that came out of rubble?
That's what we wondered that.
Yeah.
But
was that trip?
she didn't show up in the last episode, but she's still alive. She just went into that black little like Night Sisters, like green, like wish away.
He disappeared after they cut the Wi-Fi connection from Kelnaka.
Right.
But it was irritating to see freaking Soul. He's like trying to rush after her and catch her, and the door is closing. He didn't like force stop the door, anything like that. Like they just really make him like this weak thing, but we know he's not. Every other, it's like they fit whatever works in that moment for the story. It would have been better if she just knocked out
what they
Soul.
want in the story.
Yeah. I mean,
Kamir's scared of him, and he's a punk.
And he can't even force, force still or force slow-mo the door from closing all the way to get to May. So she says basically, rotten hell, I'll see you at the end. But I will say this was one of the parts that I enjoyed here, but it doesn't help the story. The space chase. The space chase, I felt like, was actually a really entertaining, actually well done scene.
It looked cool, yeah.
Until this grand scene, we get Basil, the little otter beaver creature, whatever you want to call him. Apparently, I guess he overheard Soul, telling the whole story to May. And Basil also kind of made the decision, well, Soul is the dick here. So I'm going to break, I'm going to tamper with the ship that I'm in an asteroid field, because that makes sense from stopping him from getting her, and then I'm gonna run. What a pointless freaking scene.
Why?
It would have been better if she just they had like a gun battle in space, where she shot down one of his engines and he's kind of just floating out until he's able to fix it. If they wanted to get away,
that little beaver or otter, whatever we're calling it, would have been
Otterman.
a real nice fur pelt on my wall. That's that. If I was Soul, he would have been. All right, we got this real nice, beaver hat. It'd be great.
Yeah.
What a punk! It didn't make any sense, bro.
And that was a theme that I had particularly not really seen in the launch part. I almost didn't realize what just happened. It was kind of like, there's no way Basil would have tampered with the ship he's in an asteroid field and make a dangerous move just so May could get away. And why? Because
why is he sympathizing with me?
Yeah, why? If he heard the story from Soul would have said from his point of view what happened, and it didn't look, based off what we saw, honestly, it did not warrant any of the bullshit that happened. You know? Thank you, Basil, for being one of the most pointless characters in Star Wars history. You're literally there just to sell merch to little children who like space beavers.
This is going to be our Grogu! Yay!
Yeah. How was Soul able to land the planet without crashing? Great question. I mean, I guess Soul was able to fix the ship, or maybe Basil came to his senses of shit, I'm on this ship. Maybe I need to fix it.
Soul being a powerful Jedi, Thread landed the ship.
Oh yeah. It kind of just swung on a thread landing. So, but again, with his whole reactions to things, where's Soul's mind reading powers that he's so scared of? You would be able to sense anything May's gonna do, her next move. Because why else would you need that helmet in combat? And then this ability that Kamir was aware of, wearing the Magneto helmet to keep him out. Apparently, it doesn't matter ever since that encounter. Soul could have understood where May was going. Questions are in her mind, and then he can answer them.
I like what involved as the series was supposed to be an investigation, but in the mystery is still not solved. Where do all the money went? Yeah, where did the $180 million go? And I think that if they would have gone at it like that, where it was a mystery, where it was an investigation, almost like a detective story, maybe it would have been better. to kind of keep us on the edge of our seats. But like the reveal, even the answer though, the answer to the initial mystery about what happened on Brendock 16 years ago was just such a weak reveal, a weak answer, an answer that did not warrant the aggression, the complication that happened, that set everything in motion to lying to the Jedi Council about what happened. None of it was warranted. To me, I don't know, maybe there's some audience members out there who's just like, well, that made complete sense to me. It made sense that the Jedi wouldn't tell the truth. What did they do wrong? I don't know. Tell me, like, what was so awful that they did wrong, other than things went sideways because witches were being aggressive, dark-sided witches who were using dark force, things that were considered unnatural. Like, it just doesn't. Yeah, as Batman Who Laughs says, once again, the writer's just doing whatever fits to further plot, even though it makes no sense. Yeah. Comic Book Regs, what's up, dude? If Soul killed Basil and then made a hat out of him, we could have that. We could have had that line, "Nice beaver." Thanks, I have had it stopped.
They gave me a chuckle. I like Naked Gun.
That's hilarious. Thank you so much for that, Calvin Craig. I appreciate you, dude. It's good to see you.
I'm glad people knew what was going on there.
Corey, can you go to the next slide, please?
Yes, sir.
So we know May crashes on the planet, but we go to Coruscant real quick at the Jedi Temple. Master Vernestra, she's deep in thought until she is notified from her trash Padawan if there's anyone she needed to whip around. Maybe not so much Kamir. Maybe it was, I don't know, maybe it was like a 50 Shades of Grey thing with Kamir.
Oh, maybe it makes sense why Master Kamir left her bullshit, See how she treated her Padawans and her people that she oversaw? She was toxic, bro.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know. If there's anyone who is a suspicious, flawed Jedi, it looks to be Vernestra for sure. But her completely worthless Padawan lets her know that he just let a senator in their control room. He wants to speak to her. She's obviously displeased by that. And I especially love the quick little scene where she just force opens the door when we just got Soul, who couldn't keep the door open from, May escaping. But sure. Ravencourt, he's inquiring about the murder investigation that a Jedi are keeping internal because apparently there's no larger threat, according to Vernestra. And here's where the show gets interesting. Clearly, they chose a big actor for this because he's going to be a big deal in season 2. He's going to be a problem. Mm-hmm. But he wants an investigation of external review of the Jedi because he thinks they are, in quotes, a massive system of unchecked power posing as a religion, a delusional cult that claims to control the uncontrollable. And Vernestra says, we don't control the Force. And he says, not the Force, your emotions. You project an image of goodness and restraint, but it's only a matter of time before one of you snaps. And when, not if, that happens, who will be strong enough to stop him? So almost like this dude has vision of Anakin in the future, but the fact that he's also kind of saying the same stuff that Kamir's saying. This is a senator who seems to have secret motives going on. He has something on the Jedi, or maybe he's working with a Sith in some way. What's your thoughts on this, Senator Ravencourt, Koj?
I think this is designed to show more of like her angle, and because she's clearly, to me, a villain in the story, and she's a Jedi. That they're making a villain of the story. If anything that the show does well, in my opinion, is like taking care of Kamir and this Jedi villain. I think they're the only ones with the solid motive that are pulling the strings, and everyone else is kind of sloppily written. But these two are the ones that are well thought out to be the pivotal problem causers of the whole story. And I think that's why we're seeing where this is going to be headed towards a season 2 with what they're doing with her. And because you brought up the fact that, you know, she has like a whip saber, and then the scars on Kamir's back look like a little curve, like a whip. So the whole problem is stemming from her and Kamir. And this is just showing how she has that drama with the committee, the public. What is it? What's this guy's job again? He's not a chancellor.
He's a senator. He's
a senator. Thank you.
Yeah.
So again, this is I think using her motives, or showing her motives here with how she views keeping the Jedi in political strength with the senator, and how she talks to him and how he talks to her. I mean, this is the conflict here that they thought through, that they're going to tell in season 2, and where we see where she goes next with this. I think this is like probably one of the interesting parts of the story, for sure. But it just seems like very non-Jedi like, which is just weird to me. But other than that, for its story on its own, if you're going in blind and you've never seen any Star Wars here, this is just a pretty key scene of where they are taking the story in season 2. Because I bet you this guy is going to be a key character in season 2, because he's a top-notch actor. He's had lead roles on TV before. I think he's a Canadian actor. So yeah, this is a decent scene with what they're trying to do and where they're going for. I just don't care for her and what they're doing with the Jedi, and that's my specific Jedi taste from how I grew up with Star Wars back in the day to now. It's just kind of weird and different. But as a story by itself, this is probably one of the solid scenes that's interesting, and that's about it.
This. But
I still don't like it because it's not really Jedi-like. You know what I mean?
Dude, this scene to me made no sense. Like the senator and everything like that's going on. You know, like how does he know what's going on? That's my question. Do you know how he knows what's going on, Trey?
I mean, clearly he's getting information from someone. That's why I think there's someone out there either leaking information to him or he's a part of it. He's a part of Kamir's plan.
Okay. Then my next question is, how does Yoda still not know? Like, clearly it's out there. Senators are finding out what's happening. There's some talks about a bunch of Jedi that are being killed and everything like that. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense why they don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
But I see the chat's kind of going a little wild right now. Specifically with this Xavier DeCroix.
I had a question
guy.
too, but
they lack empathy. Are we talking about
he's trying to talk about us
Jedi?
right now? Yeah. So
about us?
He clearly hasn't watched us before, so he didn't realize maybe that we were so excited about the Acolyte in the trailer reviews and everything like that. But as long as you keep things respectful in here, there won't be
okay, they can't understand. Okay, they hate.
Wait, no hate. Read the hat. It's not about hate.
Hold on. What was the initial comment?
Let me go up.
Okay,
here it is. Yeah.
I'm not getting all the context.
14M trying to comprehend your views, and I have just one. Are you Trump voters?
What the hell does that even matter? I'm sorry. Does being a Democrat or a Republican matter to how you
like
or third party
or third party? You know, independent, because honestly, both sides suck.
Wow. But once again, this guy, you know, I'm assuming Xavier with his hot takes already likes the Acolyte. Tell us a couple reasons why you like the Acolyte. Maybe he's, you know, since he's, you know, saying, are you Trump voters? Maybe he's implying that only Democrats could like the Acolyte.
Which, if that's the case, then why? Okay. So here's the interesting thing. If you want to get a little political with it, right? Didn't Leslie Headland, who created the Acolyte, say Star Wars is for everyone? Pretty sure that's a quote unquote from her saying Star Wars is from everyone. So if she made a story only for Democrats, wouldn't she be pissing off the other half? So it's not for everyone.
And actually, that's a great point too, Trey, because in her Star Wars Days interview, she actually said before it even came out, like, there's going to be people that don't like this, those types of vibes. So clearly, maybe she didn't want to make a Star Wars for everybody.
And yeah, I'm not picking on you, Xavier. I would honestly like to hear why you like the Acolyte. I mean, see, this is the funny part about, like, I feel like anyone who is coming at, like, criticizing content creators who aren't enjoying the Acolyte is you guys just attack the content creator. Mm-hmm. You don't actually be like, well, you're missing the point of this, and like talking about what you really liked about the Acolyte. I'm telling you details, story for story, things I don't like about the Acolyte, and it has nothing to do with political views. It has to do with storytelling. So that's where I ask you, like, for once, please, anyone who likes the Acolyte, if you've watched our show, you would know I've said this many, many times. If you like the Acolyte, awesome. Tell me why. Maybe I'll look at it differently and appreciate it. I've gotten in an argument with a friend who defends the Acolyte, and then the moment I ask him, "What do you actually like about it?" the answer, the conversation stops.
I'm taking his
you guys think just because we're getting a new, fresh take on a galaxy far, far away, it's finally not George Lucas's vision, that I'm just supposed to be like Luke Skywalker with some blue milk and just squeezing it out of the Disney teat.
Bro, and the best part of these people that like the Acolyte, I'm thinking they might be bots at this point, because specifically ops for and people with the Disney side of things, because when the few times when I do ask, like I said, we always ask, what's 3 things that you like about it? They never answer anything, bro. Like, a guy came out of nowhere and just started attacking me the other day when I did the hashtag cancel the Acolyte as kind of like a joke. That hashtag has been there, but like, that's trending. Let's start making the hashtag cancel the Acolyte trend again. He was like, oh, okay. The guy comes up to me and starts hating on me, and then I'm like, okay, tell me 3 things you like about it. It's like, oh, I haven't seen it yet. Like, what? What are you doing? You're just supporting the show. You're just like, oh, I'm 100% going to defend this, and I haven't even seen it yet. Like, what are you talking about? And as expected, poor Xavier left.
All right. So, if I may jump into this kind of topic, I've gotten people like this on my channel too. They hear one little thing and say some insulting or jab type of comment and then bounce right away. Where what I try to do on my channel, what I feel you guys do on your channels, we're sharing in detail what we love and what we don't like, what worked, what didn't work, and we're open for conversation. So lately for this, we're not pleased, and we're sharing criticism, and we're also looking for what we love about the show too. And this is where I feel like, okay, hear one thing that doesn't fit something that you like, then don't take it as hate. Listen a little bit longer, hear the tone in our voice and converse, and then you'll understand more. We're coming out with understanding and love and expectations that kind of shot down, and we're going into the detail of why. And if that bothers you and it doesn't sync up, then don't respond with hate and assume it's hate. Actually, and if you think it comes as hate, go at it with love, and then maybe you could find what's going on. Like, ask questions about what we're saying, or share something, another point of view that's appreciative, so we can see that. And we have seen that a few times on the channel too. So I think the lesson here is don't be quick to hate, even what you think sounds like hate, because it's just opposite what you think. And then just kind of try and converse a little bit more, because honestly, that's what we're doing with all these episodes. We're having a conversation to just dissect and see what's going on, what really didn't work. Are we crazy? Did this just happen? Oh my gosh, this is awesome. This is beautiful. Let's dive into it. That's really what we're doing. And I don't know, all this kind of brief negativity, and then, you know, then adding external things to some prejudice or stereotypes from either sides doesn't really help. That just reflects more of like the hate that, you know, we're all trying to avoid or
The dude was
not
a
entertain.
The dude was a Sith. He dealt in
A Sith?
Dealt in absolutes, right? I know. It's so funny to me. I mean, hey, it doesn't bug me. It just, you know, I laugh when the criticism for anyone who's not liking what the Acolyte is doing is, you know, oh, you guys are just bigots, you know, you're just,
or this and that.
Yeah, you're whatever label they want to give you, and then all of a sudden when you try to have a conversation with any of them, and no names were being called on our end, trying to have a legit conversation, and they just leave. That's the difference right there, folks.
And I'm going to let you know right now that XD, whatever is Xavier, he's to me he's kind of trash. He's a weak person because he's unable to, you know, he's just going to do that, you know, punch you while you're not looking and then run for it. He's going to bounce. He's not a person worth even talking to. Like he's weak.
That's disrespectful.
You know? Like, if you want to have a conversation, have a conversation. But that's what's wrong with themes nowadays in this world as well. You can't have a debate. You can't have a disagreement. You just gonna, you know, call names, you know, try to show that the other person is hate, and then bounce for it when the pressure gets on, my friend. So yeah.
And you know what that is? That's not looking for what's right and wrong. That's it's about sides. That's toxic.
Yeah.
You have a what is that, €5 super chat?
Yeah, and
we're not
kind of confused.
Hey.
Re costs for the bath scene, such rocky shores is mundane. Where I live on the Atlantic coast of Europe, I can shoot in such a place for free. Talking about how much it costs and how
No, I'm telling you, I'm glad he brought that, or they brought this to our attention, because where did all this money go? And I have a bad feeling all this money went to reshoots and, you know, changing the story as it goes. That's a technical problem I have with the show, and that's why I suspect happened, because that's costly to do so many reshoots or rechanging, because I don't know what they're trying to do. But yeah, that's awesome. I'd like to shoot those rocky shores for free. That's lucky. Awesome.
Amen for that. Dude, thank you so much for your $5 super chat. Much appreciated. Seriously, it means a lot to us. When you support our channel like that. So, Corey, can you play on a little something to start? Thank you.
Yeah, let's go to the shores here.
Size matters not. Look at me. Judge me by my size, do you? Judge me by
Thank
my
you so much for the
size.
super chat. We got another one as we were talking here. Let me get down to it.
And then we'll get back into it. I'm sorry, I know we went on a little tangent, but I feel like some of that stuff needs to be said, because it'd be one thing if we were just going on these hour shows talking about this show's just trash because of wokeness and the characters this and that, and it's just like, but no one did that. We're talking about the story. So,
and they always run when you talk about the stories, you talk about the facts, and they go to hide. They never come out, bro.
They assume like a Sith, and then they run.
Yeah, Oracle's clock tower was fired up. I know. I was like, oh, we should probably address it before.
Before. And hey, for all the admins in the chat, and this will be the end of it. All the admins in the chat, I appreciate you. I know you guys are looking out. I know probably Oracle, you're probably ready to wipe the dude out, wipe his memory. But I appreciate you guys. Just like, you know, if as long as it's being respectful, I don't care if people attack me, as long as it's respectful. Because I expect it. It's part of the game of content creating. It's funny. I find it funny now. You know?
I just don't entertain it. I've dealt with a bunch too, and you know, I just don't entertain the hate, because even how they come at us, you know, it's like wildfire. You don't entertain the hate; it just spreads. You gotta stop it down and address it. And it's all about finding what's right and what's wrong, and doing what's right.
Absolutely.
It's not about sides.
Another $5 super chat from our boy Beyond the Night, saying much love to the panel for being Jedi-like and keeping your composure.
Should we say old school Jedi-like now?
Right, yeah.
Original Jedi-like?
No, is it old school Jedi-like? Because we're now learning that 100 years before, Jedis were worse.
No, but Trey, you're in danger. I believe it. You're in danger.
Beyond that, thank you so much for the $5 super chat, brother. We appreciate you. You the best. Corey, can you play a little something to say thank you to our boy Beyond the Night?
Let's see this one.
This is the way.
And a some for our other one, right?
I think we did do one for
we did the Yoda one for him.
Yes.
And I had to do This Is the Way.
It's so embedded.
Okay, so to get back, we were talking about Ravencourt, right? We're trying to figure out what is he up to. It seems like he has a lot of information just for being a Saren, and he is on a mission to take down the Jedi, right? He says
okay, so here's my question earlier, because my understanding is, do the Jedi only know what the Jedi is doing, and the Center doesn't know what the Jedi is doing? Who knows about these murders? Is it really public? Is the murders really public knowledge in this world, or is it just Jedi knowledge? And
apparently to the Senators, because when she tells him there's been multiple victims, multiple Jedi victims, more in particular, he says multiple. So that caught him off guard, or at least he acted like he caught off guard.
So what did they really know?
But clearly you have to know something. Like, where's little Jackie? Where's Jackie walking around? Where's Yord without his shirt on? I haven't seen Yord walking around without the shirt on.
Yeah, he's got to find some public place to change. Like, oh, exactly. My bad. I was just changing here.
Something doesn't look right.
Yeah. Well, I guess the thing I really wanted to... Wego Jing says, modern day Star Wars wants you to enjoy absent story, good characters. Yes, exactly, dude. And I guess the thing I really wanted to focus, especially with Wego Jinx, is constantly, and maybe we'll save this to go a little further in depth with our our season overview, but calling the Jedi a massive system of unchecked power posing as a religion, it goes back to the way Leslie Headland and at least this group of writers, I understand trying to make the complexity of it, but I think there's a difference with the view of yes, we have seen throughout Star Wars, there are some Jedis who make poor decisions, but I feel like most of them, 99.99999% of them, are always doing it with the best intentions, doing it for the good of people. There's no question of who are the good guys versus the bad guys. That is the way George Lucas had always viewed them. But once again, we're now coming at it that the Jedi are a massive system of unchecked power. I guess, in my opinion, to me, we haven't really seen the Jedi use their power in a way that would make the Senate question it. Are they telling the Senate how to vote? Are they doing mind tricks? Are they nope. What are they doing other than they're going around saying to people hey, you have a force sensitive there. Can we test them? And that's it. And they ask for permission if they can be a part of the Jedi. Right? Now, for a few occasions, like with what happened on Brendok, some things went sideways. Some Jedis made poor calls, but it's not like a consistent, this is how the Jedi do things. So where's this thought process going on that there's this massive system of unchecked power, and how are the Jedis abusing that power? I would love to know.
I would too, because that's BS, because the whole point of a Jedi is having power and keeping it in check. That's their whole lifestyle. And they're open about it. So this is a problem that should never even be. This is Disney not understanding the way of the Force, the way of the light side, and the way of the Jedi. And they're going to tell us stories about the Jedi? Come on.
Yeah. And I think that's the part I worry about, is because so far Disney is pushing this idea that the Jedi really are just there's no such thing as good versus evil in Star Wars. It never was, according to Disney. It was just a matter of whose side you were on and whose side was winning to control the narrative. And I understand the complexity and showing that reflection of our own society, but the problem goes back to is that George Lucas was clear. The Jedi were good, the Sith were evil. So it worries me. Hopefully what they do is with the Senator, if they do go to a season 2, God forbid, they're really going to have to show us either that Senator is corrupt as can be and he's working with the Sith trying to bring down the Jedi, or there's something we've missed from the story, from George Lucas's story, that Disney's trying to reveal to us, that the Jedi have been abusing their power all along, forcing the Senate, forcing the Chancellor to vote for who they want to vote. They what's the word I'm looking for, Corey? They endorse a Chancellor for when the next one is ready to rise. As far as I'm concerned, the Jedi kind of stay out of the way of the Senate. The Senate just, when the Senate needs them to go check and investigate certain situations, the Jedi go.
In fact, they're in service of the Senate, so the Senate has their power.
Yeah. And to me, that it's alarming once again to see they're pushing this narrative, and we're not seeing exactly why this senator, and like I said, it could be saved for something, next season.
That's why I say they did this scene so specifically and focused and well shot and all that, because I think this is the preview of what they're going for in season 2.
It'll be interesting to see how they go about it. I think part of where I'm a little nervous is I've seen how they tell the story in the season 1, and I'm not sure we're ever going to get a clear answer on that.
Nope.
But I don't know.
There's a lot of turmoil I've noticed in these High Republic days, when we were supposed to be at like 1,000 years of peace and just greatness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Jedis were never really great, huh?
Apparently. And I think that's the problem, is we're constantly being told by, like, we've come in with this original ideology that Jedi are good, Sith are bad. We know that, right? The good guys have blue, green, yellow, purple lightsabers. The other guys have red. And Disney is trying to act like you've been wrong all along. The Jedi have always been evil. It's just the Jedi have always been corrupted. And it's just like, how? Tell me. Other than you're showing this one situation, which is a BS situation that the witches provoked, and if there is a situation where they went wrong, and it honestly, it's one of those, like, the secrecy of what happened 16 years ago, of why Indara told Sol not to tell the council. We said it in our episode 7 breakdown. It made no sense to us why they felt like that needed to be secret. What was so damning about that would completely obliterate the Jedi, and their way of life? Like, it didn't. There was nothing so damning to that situation that they couldn't come back from, But anyways, Vernestra, she's done with the conversation. She's basically like, "Hey, Ravencourt, it's time for you to go." But he tells me, he's like, "Hey, the lack of transparency. I've already talked to Chancellor Derelict about it. He's going to have a Senate tribunal." And he's going to require you to have an update for us. So he's like, "I hope you have the suspect by then, because you're going to be knee deep in shit." And then he does this whole condescendingly, what do you guys say? "May the Force be with you." It makes me wonder, there has to be some sort of Sith.
She might be the worst Jedi in this series, thinking about it. Like,
she's the worst Jedi of all time.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
It's simple as that. Like, Vernestra is the worst Jedi of all time.
And if she was Sol's master, was she, or was it Trinity?
No, I don't think she was Sol's master. I don't think I didn't get that impression that she was, but
they're like just in the same rankings together.
I think I don't know. I'm not
sure. A little bit above him. So,
it seems like they had a little bit of a friendship. They were close. But
you seem closer to Jedi Trinity, I felt.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Straight trash Jedi.
Yeah. But we're back on our unknown planet. Osha and Kamir are bickering like an old married couple of who gets to drive the car and give directions. Kamir wants to train Osha. He's like, "Hey, final offer. Like, will you be my Padawan, please?" And she's like, "I won't consider it. I'm not my sister." And he's like, "Yeah, you're not your sister. She did whatever I asked her to do." That sounds weird.
Yeah.
But
also, how is he like so cool with that? Shouldn't he like kill her if she said no?
Well, I mean, I think he's still very much in hope. Like he can sense within her the darkness, and I think he kind of is telling himself that I think he's aware of like what's about to happen. I think he has enough force sense to see the future in front of him, and I don't think he's willing to give up on her yet. And plus, he needs her at that moment. He even says, "He's like, you won't tell me where we're going," But they leave the planet, and here's the big reveal, right? The big cameo that everyone's going insane about. They leave the planet, and lurking in the shadows is a mysterious, dark, creepy figure who must be none other than our boy. Have you ever heard of the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise? Yes, Darth Plagueis, guys. Guys.
That's like from their little cave apartment, right?
I believe so. So he was somehow, a little cave apartment.
Like he's chilling there by the fridge the whole time? Like, what's going on?
Right, yeah. I mean, as a fan, the Darth Plagueis book, I don't know if you guys ever had a chance to read the Darth Plagueis book. It's been quite a few years for me, but I remember it still a little bit. And obviously, since Revenge of the Sith, we've all kind of wanted this moment of seeing a live-action Darth Plagueis. Hell, I would have even taken Darth Plagueis in some sort of prequel animated thing. And seeing him, my first initial reaction, if you probably saw, I was like, "Oh, there he is." And then I think about it and I go, why? Why is he here? Granted, he's kind of searching for his Padawan, but it also goes back to that whole idea where like Darth Plagueis was supposed to be this mad scientist who really, he was egotistical, very much full of himself. He truly believed he was going to be the last ever Sith because of his curiosity about the Force and how he could manipulate it, manipulate the midichlorians. And as
maybe he goes on vacation to check out skinny dipping.
Yeah, his peeping.
And like Rigo Jinx said here, only Leslie Helen can make Darth Plagueis a peeping Tom in a live-action Star Wars. Watching Kamir go skinny dipping this whole entire time. Darth Plagueis the peeping Tom, not the wise. Darth Plagueis the peeping Tom. Hashtag Darth Plagueis the peeping Tom.
I mean, part of me is kind of like, I dig kind of the creepiness of it. It's really making him feel sinister. But at the same time, it was kind of like, how long has he been there? Did Kamir ever just wake up like, do you hear that? Like, no.
Maybe they stole his ship and he's just been stalking them ever since.
Do you hear heavy breathing again?
It's getting faster. What?
But to me, it's a bigger problem to have. It once again goes with that Leslie Headland putting kind of her stamp, her creativity into this story that kind of affects the prequel trilogy, and more importantly, the prophecy of the chosen one with Anakin Skywalker. And it now kind of makes it feel like they're trying to give reason to Plagueis being like, so you can create beings from the Force. Let me go see if I can do it. And then he fails numerous times until the Force says, no, screw you, bucko. You can't do that. That's messing with nature. We're going to create something that's going to wipe out the entire Civ. Anakin. You know, to me, it's like, I almost wish he wasn't in it. Even though I'm super excited, because part of me says, well, they're going to do the Darth Plagueis book, right? We're going to get the Darth Plagueis book. No, I don't think the writers are competent to enough.
No, we didn't even get the twins from Han and Leia. They're rewriting so much that they could have used. They are.
And it was supposed to be important that Plagueis was kind of the one. He was really the person from the beginning trying to see if he could play God, you know, with the Force. If he could be the new creator of life, to have that control, that power. And it's important that he fails. It shouldn't have been a story of where Plagueis said, well, you know, I heard that there was these two twins that were created from these witches, and there was this thread, and somehow they were born of the Force without a father, so maybe I can do that myself. It's important that Plagueis is the one that initiates that idea and says, I wonder if I can create life. Because when he does, the Force retaliates. It's important because right now the Force hasn't done anything. These two twins have been created, and is there any balance between them? No. Both of them have gone on the side of the Sith. Sure, you can say, well, May now is kind of mind
That's not true.
She's going to be helping out with the Jedi.
That's not true. One with brain wipe, so she's a dummy and she's on the Jedi side now. So
is she really? I mean, once she learns what she's gonna be right on the Sith side too, and I don't think Osha's coming back.
She doesn't have any thoughts or a brain anymore, so she's clearly on the Jedi side from this show.
Nonetheless, it was something unnatural that the mothers did.
You have to be brainless to be on the Jedi side.
And the Force didn't retaliate. It seems weird. It doesn't match the original story and the story that drives the original 6 movies through. You know, to have Plagueis show up. Now, granted, Plagueis probably did exist around this time. He was probably around, I think, 15 to 20 years old. We know birth dates don't matter to Disney Star Wars because of Ki-Adi Mundi, so I'll give him a pass on that. But nonetheless, you still have to stay true to what we know about this character based on the Revenge of the Sith and the book, even though it is Legends and now considered not canon, but it's still the character.
Trey, so, question for you. Is there any possibility that this isn't Darth Plagueis?
No, it's Leslie Headland confirmed it is Darth Plagueis. She said it was always the plan to have him in the show.
Then there needs to be an immediate stop on any future seasons of Acolyte, and Dave Filoni and all those other people that approved this need to be held accountable. You know, they're going to ruin Darth Plagueis, a character that people are really interested in, and they're going to ruin him in the show, and it's going to leave a bad taste for everybody. That's a shame.
It is, especially for such a popular story in the Star Wars lore.
Yeah.
A lot of fans are. I always say, as bad as it sounds, guys, like if you're going to do something like this, it'd be one thing. If you wanted to create a story, go 900 years more, be 1,000 years before, you know. So that way, there's not really. You could create your own characters that don't really mess with the canon of the prequel films or any of them. And here to have Plagueis show up, it throws in now a lot of problems with Plagueis's goal and how he achieves that. Not only that, having Plagueis there, here's the most important thing about having Plagueis there. Osha and Kamir, they're doomed. They're dead. The moment Plagueis arrives, those characters you already know aren't going to make it. Oh, yeah, see, as Darth Starkiller Unleashed says, Leslie said her plan is to use Kamir and May as a stepping stone for Plagueis. Yeah, I did read that interview that she did. Those two characters are dead, so you don't need to care about them anymore because they're no longer main characters. They're just stepping stone for the bigger bad, which is Plagueis. So why care about their relationship and the journey they go on when you know they're just going to kick the bucket? You know, I don't know. While it was a cool thing to finally see Plagueis live action, and I get excited by the idea of potentially seeing a Plagueis, Star Wars Legends story come up. I don't think they're going to do it. I mean, based off everything I've seen these writers do, like clearly they want to give their own creative flair to it. And it's like, it's not a good idea. And here you want a perfect example. And I don't mean to compare content here, but it's sci-fi versus sci-fi. The Halo series, Corey, did you hear about this?
Yeah.
The Halo series took a shit ton of creative liberties, and guess what happened to them? Canceled. The video game
canceled.
The fans you are trying to capture, you need, like, granted, I get it, you want to get new fans, I understand that, but you always have to pay respect to the people who made this IP what it is today, and that is the fans who love this content. Granted, like, if you create content that the fans love, trust me, they'll spread the word and say, this is a great show. We did it with Mandalorian. We did it with freaking Andor. If you create good content, we'll spread the word for you that gets new fans involved. They'll teach their next generation of kids to love Star Wars. Here, you're just setting up for a bit of disaster. And with the Halo show, people wanted something more like the video games, and Paramount decided to throw their own little creative flair with it. And with Master Chief especially, that wasn't true to any of those characters.
Oh, is that what happened? I didn't check that show out.
Yeah, don't even worry about it. I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't put you through the season 2, 2 seasons of trash. But it got canceled.
We never finished it. Did you finish it?
I did finish it,
okay,
and I regret finishing it because I even myself was like, I think I'm not going to watch when season 3 comes out. So good for them for knowing not to waste money. But so that's
lesson all the haters, I mean,
it is. Like, you got to stay true to the characters.
Yeah, that's what really it's about. True to the characters and true to a world that's been established for decades and generations. People don't understand that these criticisms they're doing is out of love for Star Wars. We don't want to hate Star Wars. What the heck? We're rooting for it, as we always been with this show, and or anything Star Wars related. So, and it's not to any external political excuse as to why we should like it and making fun of why we are not happy with what we're getting, because the same status of quality is expected everywhere else, just like Halo.
Exactly, and that's why I don't understand why people get upset when like people voice their opinions out on something like this. Like if we're paying for Disney Plus, if we're the consumers, we have every right to complain about content or the product that we're receiving if we are displeased with it.
Yeah, you have actual investment. That's why I barely complain or talk about Marvel, because I don't really give them much of my money. I've spent more time with DC because I've given them a ton of my money. Same with WWE. The list goes on, and the list continues with where I put my attention to. So we should be free to be speaking the truth, because how else are things going to get better?
Like, look at this. Starkiller Unleashed is actually thinking about canceling his subscription.
Wow.
I mean,
join me.
Other people have.
Join me.
There are other tons of people that have. I see, like with me,
I did a while ago.
Disney has like a lot of other content that I like, that I watch. I mean, I do love watching Clone Wars. Sometimes I watch that stuff on repeat. I love Rebels.
They have Tron Uprising, which I think is a fantastic show.
I mean, there's other great
underrated
Disney
gem.
stuff
That's on their stuff.
And see, this is the point. Is like so many people are feeling so defensive about the Acolyte, when the truth is, it's just like people think it's coming out of a place where people just want to hate on it. But the truth is Star Wars fans are just saying this isn't a good show because in a time when Star Wars Star Wars was hated with the sequel trilogy, right? People were so pissed off with Last Jedi that they made a movie about Han Solo fail, and the Rise of Skywalker. That was, I mean, yes, it made a lot of money in the box office. That's because you got fans to go see it, and they came back and were like, "No, that ain't it." So Star Wars was in a bad time, but then you have a show by Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni called The Mandalorian. All of a sudden, Star Wars fans start coming back and saying, "That's it. That's the good stuff right there. Keep going with that." Season 1, season 2 went by. People are going crazy about The Mandalorian. Then you got Book of Boba Fett, and people are like, that one didn't quite hit." But
yeah, it was a little sloppy in some areas.
Do a little better, But we came back from Mandalorian season 3. But then you had other shows, Andor.
Yeah,
like, that's dope. That's
I
cool.
love
It's
Andor.
Different. Give me something more.
And it is different, and I don't hate it. I love it, actually.
So Star Wars fans, the truth is, when people try to come at people who don't like the Acolyte, it has nothing to do with just hating to hate Disney. It has everything to do with when Disney doesn't understand the IP that they're working with, and they try to create something that feels disingenuous to the fans. So they praise it when Disney does well. They criticize it when it's not great. So it's as simple as that. Look, Corey, hold on. What did Hansa say? I liked Acolyte, not trash. I would say okay, better than Kenobi TV show. I will stand by my opinion. I will not succumb to pressures from bullying from other people.
Never succumb to bullying and pressures from other people, by the way, no matter what it is.
Yeah, and you shouldn't, Hansa. Hansa, out of curiosity, because you did like it, or at least it was okay for you. What were some of the highlights of this show for you? Let us know in the chat. I'm actually very curious to hear. And me personally, I did not think it is better than Kenobi, but that's because I will be honest there, I'm biased because Obi-Wan Kenobi has always been my boy since I knew what Star Wars was. Ben Kenobi, Obi-Wan Kenobi, that was always my favorite character. So when I saw Ewan McGregor was coming back, I had nothing but love for that show, especially when Hayden Christensen came back as Darth Vader. I was like, yes. Even though I admit there's some. Even you can watch our breakdowns. We were kind of like, there's some moments that we could forget, But Hansa, I'm glad to hear that you enjoy it. And hey, don't let anyone tell you differently. Like, you can disagree with us on not liking it, and that's fine. Hopefully, you're able to help me or any of us see something differently with the show, because I don't even think there's moments I think are okay, but the majority of the show, I'm kind of like, it's one I'll never come back to, for sure.
Yeah. I love Rollerball, the reboot. I think that movie is great. It's not perfect, but it's great. But it's famously trashed and hated. And there's a few of us who really like it for the same reasons I do. And I have problems with it too, but it's never the reasons that people trash it for. But yeah, I've heard that pressure from something that I like that's unanimously hated or disregarded. But don't let anyone bully you into what you don't enjoy. Wait, don't let people bully you out of what you enjoy just because they say so.
And Hansa, I hope you spread the word more, because I would say social media bullying, which I know is normally a negative place anyways, but I try to watch a lot of different content creators, even ones that I know are kind of shills for anything. Like, they'll admit, like, after a movie has come out that they were praising, and like a month after Rotten Tomatoes said their piece and everyone's batshit, they'll then come out and say, like, it didn't hit its mark. And it's just like, dude, you were praising it, saying it was the best movie ever, but that's because the person who worked on the show you were interviewing. I was like, I'm okay with either way. I just tell us why you like it, dude. Like,
I would love to have Leslie Hedlund on this show.
I don't know if I could trust you with that one, Corey, to be professional. That
I would love to see that.
Man, sure, if Leslie Hedlund says she wants to join us, I doubt it. We're the people she's calling.
I don't think she would last. I think it would just make her look worse.
Probably. But let's go ahead. Let's get back to the show. But we are back on Brendok. Soul has landed. He turns on his ship transponder beacon on so the Jedi may find him while he searches for May, which is interesting because he actually like force senses her location, so he knows where to go. I don't know if you heard what I just said.
The thread works,
right?
He just force sensed her location, so he knew where to go.
The thread works.
But somehow we need Basil, whatever his name is, the otter thing.
Or we need the machine metal detectors.
Yeah. All while this is happening on the Coruscant, Venestra, she's trying to reach someone, but they're saying like, never call here again. Click, he's indisposed at the moment. I'm assuming at that moment she's probably trying to get a hold of Master Yoda, and she's like, dude, shit's going down at the Jedi Council. I need you to wake up and help us. I don't know. But her Padawan gives her an update, says, Soul's on his transponder location. Let's go get him, basically. And she says, hey, grab as many Jedi Knights as you can, but don't sound the alarm. We're going to go in and, get a resolution to this entire thing. So Osha and Kamir arrive. Soul sees their ship as he enters the ruined temple, still searching for May. They're playing a little hide and seek. But Kamir and Osha, when they arrive at the temple, they decide to separate. Well, he just disappears on her like Batman, which was cool. But Soul, you could tell he's haunted by the Force echoes. He senses what happened 16 years ago, and all of a sudden behind him, Kamir shows up, and we get this. In my opinion, it was a solid lightsaber battle. Still nothing of the level of, Battle of the Heroes or Duel of Fates, but I loved this lightsaber battle of how it had this wuxia like element to it. Koj, as someone who has just recently taught us about wuxia, can you kind of break down the fight sequence a little bit for us? Like, tell us what some of the things that you really enjoyed or liked about it.
So I did like the choreography of the fighting in this episode. It's really good. And as many of you have been joining me on my co-watch parties, thank you. Shout out to the battalion. What I like about what the prequel started to do more of was bring the martial arts style into Star Wars. And wuxia is a type of genre of martial arts film where the skill of your fighting ability allows you to take great leaps and glide through the air and all that stuff. And we do see that in Western entertainment and cinema as well, except there's never this spiritual side or martial arts side. There's a scientific side, like The Matrix is very wuxia, Power Rangers is very wuxia, and Star Wars has always been wuxia because they use their powers to their power comes from a force around you, and their abilities to translate that through their fighting skills are connected. And what's cool about this episode, they actually had a few shots where they did the iconic hanging on wires and gliding through places. And the moment where you said, look, that looks like wuxia, that was perfectly it. So I liked that they borrowed more from that cinematic martial arts style that Star Wars has kind of done their own version of. But this was straight out of a wuxia book, with that few scene where Kamir and Soul were gliding down to change from one battle section in that little bridge thing to outside on the ground. And that was cool. I have to say the martial arts in the show is very beautiful. And I just wish they used that to tell more of the Force. Because the Force also comes from Asian martial arts type of theory with the ki, which is an energy around you that connects us and binds us, to the chi, which is another, that's more Chinese. The ki is more Japanese. The chi is the energy within you that comes out. So what's cool about Star Wars, George Lucas always borrowed from the East with the Vietnam War as well, and even their style with karate gis. So when you had that, the ki and the chi combined, he essentially created the Force. I don't know if that's where he got it from, but they all follow the same rules. So Star Wars being able to use more martial arts stuff, even cinematically from other stuff, is great. And that's one cool thing this show has done. I just wish they used that with the meaning of the light side and the dark side, because there's good and evil. That's where I think the show missed it, because then if they really brought more wuxia into it, because even with kung fu themes and martial arts stories from the East, when you have that ability to tap into a certain power, there's a good side and there's a bad side. There's a light side, there's a dark side. There's a just side, there's an evil side. And I think that's where the show fails. They have an opportunity to tell that deep story, but since they want to make everyone equally dirty and the dark side a little bit extra good and cool and the light side a little dirty and dark, they're missing that. And that's another thing that's hurting the show, and that's what also makes it a missed opportunity, because if they focus more on what's good and wrong in addition to all these things these characters are going through, I think that would have saved the show and made it a solid story. But they're ignoring that on purpose because they want to sell you on the fact that the Sith are cool. And as beautiful as the martial arts that they're doing here, I think it would have more weight if they added that to the story. But for political reasons, I believe they are not doing that, and it's hurting the story and it's hurting the characters. So they could have done more with it storytelling wise, but visually with the action, there's some of it that's there that's cool, but it kind of seems a little bit more like, okay, we'll take a little bit of cool stuff and make it a little decent smoothie, but nothing that's really stand out on its own altogether awesome. It is pretty though, but I just want more substance, and that's the problem with the show. Even in the fighting, they have the flair, no passion.
You may understand what Maharu is saying better than I do, Koj, taken from MAA.
Oh yeah, that's another one.
The KA pure energetic template.
Okay. The Katarsis helmet. Oh, sorry, go back to that one last part. The Katarsis helmet blocks stun gun attacks and Jedi powers. Yeah, I mean, there was some particular choreography here that I thought was very intriguing. Like you said, when it did have some of that wuxia like elements of like floating through the air while they're doing their lightsaber fight. One particular scene that I feel like we haven't really seen a ton of in live action Star Wars that I'm glad they used in this, because it kind of even reminded me of Jedi Survivor, was when they did the lightsaber throw and it finally like coming back and then the force push. When I saw that, I was like, okay, this is cool. Like that's not bad. I dug it, you know, as someone said in the chat earlier, Batman Who Laughs. I thought that was some cool choreography right there. But we do get finally. Corey, did you have anything you wanted to say?
Yeah, it is, Trey. Okay. Yeah.
No, go ahead.
No, I would say, okay, so this was an okay fight scene. I think the only issue with this is that Leslie said she was going to have the coolest Jedi fight lightsaber battle ever. And when you're expecting, you know, something that amazing, you know, levels of Duel of Fate style Obi-Wan and Anakin's fights, this came nowhere near it, in my opinion. So it was more of like it was cool, but it was like okay, is this what you were saying that was going to beat and make it like, oh man, this was amazing, you know, like it was just okay.
Here's what I'll ask though, because I think, just to be, you know, honest and kind about the show, because I know some people are like, guys, we've been like an hour and a half talking about negatives with this show. Other than I said the space chase was cool. I actually think from Disney, this is the best live action Star Wars fight sequence that Disney has given us with lightsabers.
Better than the most recent Obi-Wan versus Anakin or Darth Vader?
Okay, so here's my reason. Here's what. While I love that scene, I love it more because of the emotional attachment to it, of the emotions driving that story. Because their lightsaber fight wasn't exactly on the level of Battle of Heroes. It was just emotionally weighted and driven. And that's why I love it so much. In terms of storytelling through fencing and lightsaber action, Obi-Wan Kenobi wins, right? in terms of choreography, I think this particular episode wins,
I don't know,
but just a little bit, in my opinion.
You would say okay. Another one that just popped into my head was the Ahsoka versus Balin.
That was just a lot of swiping at each other. Not even Ahsoka's fight sequences have been disappointing to me. Nothing to what I was expecting. I was expecting something much closer to like Nick Gillard's level of fighting, and this wasn't Nick Gillard, but it was something different, something creative, and I found it intriguing. Probably because of that wuxia element that Koj has kind of got me hooked on lately.
Oh, which, if you don't mind me jumping in, because I caught up with M.A. Hiro's what he's been saying, which is great stuff. What wuxia is, it's not a martial art. It's a genre of film of how to tell martial arts. So what I was talking about was more of the martial arts, not the actual martial art of how.
Oh, okay.
That, because what he's talking about is what's used a lot in Assassin's Creed, which is actual Egyptian ways of going about martial arts and stuff like that. What I was talking about is a film genre that uses the martial arts and uses the uses chi, and then Japan, their wuxia of film uses the ki, and America does a little bit of both with sci-fi, storytelling, like The Matrix, it's all simulation. Star Wars, it's the force around, or it's a superpowers from superhero movies. I was talking about the film genre wuxia. Actual martial arts, you could go for days and all that, but what he's talking about is an actual cultural thing that's in Egypt. Wuxia is a film thing. You can't go take wuxia classes and then learn how to do this stuff. It's
I appreciate you clarifying that,
because
I probably misspoke too, as I don't quite know, as I'm starting to just
you can say wushu, you can take jujitsu, a whole bunch of other stuff. What wuxia is, it's a film, a genre that started like in the 1960s, like The Dragon Inn. That's one of the most acclaimed film genres. So when you're talking about actual martial arts and philosophies in different cultures, that's good and well. But what I was talking about wuxia is a film genre. It's not really. It's how to go about telling martial arts stories and using martial arts.
Gotcha.
So that's a big difference.
Okay.
That I think what this person is talking about. So the film genre of wuxia is elements of all that I brought up. That again, with Star Wars, you could told so much stories with that, and that film genre has its own culture and way of going about telling stories, just like Star Wars does. And there's an opportunity to put them together. Yeah. Like I said, that's culture. But what I was talking about is a film genre that has its own history and style.
Yes, this beats it right away, Trey.
But I was talking about lightsaber battles.
Yeah, there we go.
If we're just talking about a single,
that's not a battle. That was OP on.
Yeah,
a bunch of level
Vader
ones
showing up in the hallways, in Rogue One. That is like one of the greatest Vader scenes of that may be the greatest Vader scene live action ever. That was just such an epic moment that I think we all were scared shitless. And just made Vader even more awesome. But I personally enjoyed the choreography this round, except there was, I hear Red Hooded Outlaw probably heard me from the last one, but I personally, the one moment where they lost me with their choreography is when Kimir is trying to pull Soul's lightsaber to his Protocious helmet so he can, shatter it essentially, so he can't use it at the moment.
I was looking forward to that in that moment. That would have been interesting.
It would have been cool, but I just feel like the way it was filmed made it look like Kimir could have simply, because he's holding the hand of Soul, pulling it in, and also using his lightsaber to pull him.
Yeah,
at that moment they
need to switch those for the drama.
He could have just flicked it,
flicked
his lightsaber that way, and Soul's dead.
Which
gone.
The show established is an actual technique, because the other guy blocked it from a Wookiee just with the flick of the wrist.
Just with the flick, right? So
these sabers should be like this. They're like this, but it should be switched around for the scene to work.
The fact that he was so focused on pulling it and just obliterating when he could have just done that. Even that, he's holding the hand. That that lightsaber is not going to go anywhere.
He's holding here. Like, you can do this.
So to me, it was just like one of those moments where it's like, like you had a solid like choreography going on, and that was like the one moment I was like, that was silly. Kind of ruined it.
Like how you have in the frame on the right, middle one down, that was the wuxia shot of that film genre.
Oh yeah,
style.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did get tingles. So I was like, oh, that was cute.
Right, yeah. But he, you know, all that fight sequence is going on. We get this moment with Osha and May. They finally meet up. You can tell Osha's pissed. She's angry. And May takes no blame, right? It's all Soul's fault. Because, and Osha's still kind of defending Soul at this moment. She's like, hey, Soul never taught me to hate you. You know, he was the one that told me to find compassion for you, to kind of forgive you in a way. And May reveals, you know, her piece of the truth of how Soul killed their mother. And of course, Osha is overcome with emotions and they begin to fight. And May seems to be really the composed one, but not Osha, you know. And finally, when Soul gets his kill shot with Khmer, he pauses because, you know, plot. And out of nowhere, May saves Khmer, has Soul's lightsaber, and of course, it's part of the vision, the prophecy that Osha had, that Soul remembers, and he's just like, here, strike him down. You got him. This is your opportunity. You're my Padawan, right? And she chooses to throw the lightsaber away, and it breaks. Very cheaply made. Exposing some of the kyber crystal.
And
the kyber crystal. And she's basically saying, no, I want Soul to face justice. He's gonna speak to the council, and he needs to know. Which
sounds very Jedi-like.
It does sound very Jedi-like, but here is my issue. The second time rewatching it, the first time I watched it, I didn't have a reaction to it. I was like, oh wow, this is interesting. She is being the more composed, more Jedi-like one. Here's my issue. She just tried to escape from Soul, who just said he was basically wanting the Jedi Council to come, where she could have told this story to the Council. So
this is my problem with this character.
Yeah,
every time she wants to do the right thing,
away. If she was just wanting him to face justice, you think Soul would have taped her mouth and would have been like, here she is, she's the proof of the virgins of the Force, and she wouldn't be like, hey, she actually, you know, this dude actually killed my mom. I can tell you everything that happened here 16 years ago. Why did she run?
Again, why did she run in, like, what, episode 6, 5? The throwdown in that forest? Where she was like, I'm going to turn myself in. No, I'm going to escape and use weapons against the Jedi, my knives.
Yeah.
From wanting to turn in and face through. Then she's like, no, they should turn in and uphold the law. And then she backs out of that again. It's like, the same flip-flop happened a second time.
Yeah.
With turning her in, like this theme of turning into people into the Jedi Council to face the truth.
To me, it was very much like, okay, why did she run in the first place? She had him. He was going to call the Jedi Council to have them join up with them, where she could have told them everything. There didn't need to be a chase. There didn't need to be a dangerous space chase, you know. But instead, she wanted to escape and get away from the dude. And to me, that's once again where it's like they just do whatever feels like to further the storyline, the action, because we got to find
not further the storyline, because I feel they're avoiding that. I think they're always misdirecting the storyline to like, no, we need to go here so this cool thing can happen. That's the vibe I get, because if they did further the storyline, all their decisions would be dedicated and cause and effect towards that goal.
Yeah. So yeah,
as they say, here's a goal, but we're going this way. Here's my goal, but we're going this way.
And at that moment, you could say, well, like, she just wants him to unknowingly confess the truth to Osha. Okay, sure. She had no idea Osha was going to meet up with her there, though. So, I mean, yes, she kind of uses it to her advantage at that moment. But at the same time, if that was her goal, if that was her mission, she could have gotten that done in a much easier, much safer situation. So Osha now knows the truth. Soul tries to, explain himself a little bit. He's heartbroken that she now knows that he thought he was doing what was best for her. And Osha has had enough of it. She finally tells him, stop talking, and starts to force choke him. So in a way, doing exactly what the Acolyte mission was, which was to kill a Jedi without a weapon. She's using the Force, or the thread, however you want to look at it. And in that moment, when she is force choking him, you can see the kyber crystal is starting to bleed, which that is a concept that actually Disney came up with, I think back in 2017. It was, I think, if I recall, it was like a Kylo Ren comic book where they explained the bleeding of crystals. Beforehand, George Lucas had said Sith kyber crystals were basically synthetic, meaning they weren't really real. They kind of went the cheap route with their lightsabers, which was to showcase their impatience, and how they just wanted to get to it quickly, and kind of how they weren't authentic with the Force in a way. So I'll be honest, I kind of like the idea of bleeding a crystal. I think it's a little more symbolic than the Sith having
Nope, hated it.
synthetic. You hate it? Okay, Corey, explain why you hated it.
Hated this scene. So bleeding the crystals, yeah, cool. We finally got to see it on the on the live TV. But bleeding the crystals, like from my understanding, because I was talking to a buddy at work about this, is pretty hard for my understanding. He said he read like the comics of Anakin or Vader,
of Darth Vader,
of Darth Vader trying to do it, and it took like Vader 6 attempts to bleed his crystal out.
So the problem
she's able to do it, like woo,
Yeah. So here's the issue with that. Because I thought about that too, and here's what I explain. I'm conflicted on this particular issue that fans are debating. Part of me says the kyber crystal bleeding thing, it's a cool idea and it's a cool concept. If there's anything I think Disney needs to really figure out here, is they need to create some consistency of how you bleed a crystal, because there's been many different versions and how it gets done. With Darth Vader, part of the reason why it didn't work as well for him, even though he's one of the most powerful Sith Lords of all time, the chosen one, is the simple fact that he is conflicted throughout the process. When he was trying to make the crystal bleed, he was conflicted. And you could say, and even Hayden Christensen has confirmed this, is that...
Stop right there.
What?
Stop right there. You said she was conflicted?
Darth Vader was conflicted. Yeah.
Osha may have been conflicted the entire time. So this conflicted debate that you're saying,
sure,
you can't even use it at me.
And this is where I say, like, once again, Corey, you're getting a little too ahead of it. Where I'm saying the concept is cool.
No.
How the concept of bleeding a crystal to make it red is not cool to you?
That's okay.
How's it for you, being a Sith sympathizer that you are? How do you not like the concept of
is interesting
bleeding a kyber crystal?
I'm not sure how I feel about it. I don't know all the lore about that portion of it, but I'm going to have to think about that one more.
Okay. Well, me personally, I like the concept because it makes Ahsoka even cooler if you do believe in bleeding kyber crystals, because her crystals are white. And the reason why they're white is because she healed red kyber crystals that have bled. She healed them, and that's why they're pure. So that's...
Can I bleed that again?
I would imagine so, but I don't know. Maybe it's harder to do a second time. But the concept is cool. Unfortunately, I do understand why people say, because, and I think this is the problem with the storytelling throughout this show, right? Osha has flip-flopped so many times that all we can believe in this moment is she is conflicted. I mean, hell, even moments later when she's talking with Kamir about what are they going to do, are they going to leave to train, she at one point says like, we'll tell the Jedi everything Soul did. So she still has faith in the Jedi at that moment, which would show even in this moment she's conflicted, which makes the bleeding of the crystal not feel warranted, because now people think it's as simple as a mood ring, you know.
That's what it seems like. That's
exactly.
And mood rings are fantastic. That's actually a fantastic statement about. That's exactly what that felt like. Maybe that's why I have some issues with it.
Yeah. And I think that now that is warranted to have issues with how easy it was for her, in the simple fact, because it doesn't show that her character had really any commitment throughout.
How does one bleed a kyber crystal? Like, how is it bled? Is it just by like turning to the dark side?
Well, there's some people that say because the kyber crystal was exposed, you know, and
we're looking this up.
You know, the fact that the kyber crystal was exposed, that she was able to have more of a connection to actually affect it. I mean, here's the issue, and this is once again why I say Disney needs to kind of take some time. Dave Filoni needs to kind of sit down with all the creative people and explain how bleeding kyber crystals work, because it's a new concept since 2017. Because we even saw, and Corey, sorry for the spoiler alert, you can close your earmuffs about Star Wars Jedi Survivor. In Star Wars Jedi Survivor, there is a long lost High Republic Jedi that bleeds his crystal and does it basically without any trouble. You know, basically just looks at it and says, I'm a Sith, and there it goes, it's red. So they need to really hone in the idea, comics, games, movies, TV shows, and say, this is how you achieve this. This is what has to happen for this theme, this powerful kyber crystal to bleed. I will
to get it red, right?
Yeah, to get it red.
Still, more dark side stuff. You need a blood sacrifice to show allegiance.
Okay,
or shed blood to be on the dark side.
So interesting.
They can do stuff with that if they try.
Wikipedia says bleeding was the process that a dark side adept used by way of the dark side of the Force to bend a kyber crystal to their will, turning it red. It was possible for some light side users to purify corrupted crystals, which would bring them back to the light side and change their color to white.
Oh,
yeah. So
it sounds like you have to be pretty
Darth Star Killer says something about that.
Oh well, yeah. Like Wikipedia has had their issues big time, especially as of late. But I was curious what since they've been kind of we're pro show, we're not pro show. I was curious what their response was.
That's actually fair for someone that is pro show. They're really pro all Star Wars, but you know, regardless of the quality of it, which is fine. You can be a Star Wars fan.
Maybe to get extra
love
funding.
it or hate it. Yeah, well, maybe. But nonetheless, to me, it was exactly, let's see, we go Jinx. Anakin should have bled his crystal when he killed the Tusken Raiders or in the Jedi Academy with the younglings. I mean, that was and that's where it goes back to of like, okay, Anakin does that, right? And his lightsaber doesn't go red. And there's that ideology that he's still very conflicted at that moment, which is why when you see him on Mustafar and he's crying because he knows what he did was wrong and he wants someone to help him. And there's even some people who theorize that when Anakin is beat up from Obi-Wan and he's been burnt alive and he's starting to become Darth Vader and they're putting all the things on him, that when the mask comes on, there's a lot of people that theorize that if you listen closely and fix the audio, that he says, help me. I think he says, Padme, help me. You know, and it kind of just once again shows. Sorry,
yeah, that's beautiful because the Darth Vader suit is Anakin's prison that he carries around with him, and he still has blue throughout the whole Revenge of the Sith because there's still good in him. Anakin is a very deep driven character, and it's a beautiful story. So yeah, him having the saber blue, crying on Mustafar, it's all beautiful storytelling right there. So I can see that Anakin is the one that wouldn't bleed a crystal. He would actually make the commitment to go on one side or the other.
Yeah,
whether he has to or not.
And here's another thing,
That's right.
Jinx, that I wish Disney would get back to a little bit. One of the coolest parts, in my opinion, about Star Wars, especially that Revenge of the Sith did, is that when you were going evil and you were really connecting to the dark side of the Force, not only was your lightsaber red, or something like if that bleeds your lightsaber, but more importantly, your eyes would change color.
Mm-hmm.
I loved that idea. I loved that concept. And so far, Disney has never brought it back. Kylo Ren has never gotten the evil Jedi eyes. Here with Osha or Kamir.
Because what's cool, when he was crying, he didn't have those eyes.
That's not entirely true.
That was after his eyes changed.
What are you saying, Corey?
That's not entirely true. Look at his eyes.
That
well, that's him. He's.
That could just be Plagueis' eyes. In all honesty, though, Corey, we don't know exactly. There's people who theorize what Plagueis species is, but
Darth Maul had those eyes.
Yeah, Darth Maul has those eyes. So when she's bleeding that crystal in that moment, her eyes probably should have changed too. So, like I said, we need some continuity. We need Disney to go with Star Wars lore fans and Dave Filoni, and they need to sit down and say, this is how it works.
No. Even our person in the chat, Maheru, they need them too.
No,
yeah,
they need George Lucas.
Substance.
I guarantee George Lucas will not come back.
Yeah.
The whole rumor that George Lucas is coming back after stuff like this, there's no way they're going to let George Lucas come back, because Lucas is going to be like, he's not going to want anyone to control him, and it's not his anymore.
Yeah,
it's not.
I think that's the goal. Why they go left field, to push him further away so they can be free to do whatever they want.
Yeah.
Bankrupt Disney so he can buy them out.
Well, anyways, to get back to the show, So tells Osha it's okay. He knows she needs this, so she force chokes him to death. Her first real murder. And Kamir tries to take her hand. He's like, "Oh well, you're my Padawan. You did the Acolyte mission," and she ignites her mood ring. And we see her lightsaber goes from blue to red. She's becoming a Sith, and she's almost in shock about it. Like, it's this realization that she must accept now. What do you think was going on through her mind as the lightsaber was starting to go from blue to red? All her life, when she was a little girl, she dreamed to be a Jedi, and now she realizes she's the exact opposite. KJ.
I didn't feel it. It's a beautiful visual, but I didn't feel it because it felt like they said that she was going to do this from the moment she woke up at the cave apartment and was all like, "Who's this guy?" I had a feeling she's definitely going to be Sith, and she was even dressed in Sith. She didn't mind her Jedi friends being killed, and when they were kids, she was the one squeezing the little creature a little harder, right? And wasn't May the one who said, "Hey, Osha, let her go"?
No, it was Osha who said it.
Oh, okay. So yeah, she always wanted to be a Jedi, which is cool. But I don't know. I see what they were going to go for this to be the reveal, but I feel they handled it sloppily to where I was like, "Oh, okay, they swapped places." Then she's going to be like I think I even said it while we're watching that she's going to turn Sith, and the other one's going to end up with the Jedi.
I think you did. Yeah. I think that was like one of your first comments, like when we started watching it. Like, so good call.
She's already in the garb.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, she was already in the garb. They already set it up. The fact that she was having checking out the dude, dipping in the pool. They were prepping us for her to turn to the dark side since that her waking up in the cave apartment. It wasn't surprising how they went about it with the saber changing colors. That was pretty, but at the point I didn't feel like it was powerful enough. It was a pretty visual, I'll give it that, but at the same time I want more meat.
I like what Beyond the Night said. An undeserving yet beautiful moment. I agree with that. I
said it better than I did. Thank you, Beyond the Night.
I'm with Koji on that. I didn't really have like an emotional attachment to it. Like it didn't feel like a complete tragedy because at this point, Soul was like one of the most. I don't know. He was just a Jedi. Like while I love the actor, the Jedi himself was disappointing. He made a lot of, and not just like choice mistakes, but just he made dumb decisions that like just show that he was incompetent. And that's just how they wrote him, so that way they had plot armor for when May or Osha needed to get away.
That's a tragedy. Wasting Soul and Jae-Jung Lee on this. That's a tragedy. Wasting him. I screwed it up again, huh? But
I know, I do too.
Wasting our boy Lee on this stuff is horrible because this was the opportunity to have a Qui-Gon like level Jedi. And if you did do that, then this turn, I guarantee, would have had more powerful and heartstring tugging moments, because it kind of felt like, well, you might as well. It was horrible, this and that. They predicted too much of the shocking stuff that they were trying to do, and then the left turns that they did do that had no merit was even. It's just they built up a lot of lackluster for something that if they put a lot of effort into could have broke our hearts, but didn't.
Super Bro Corey, your thoughts about what's going through her mind when she sees the lightsaber turn from from blue to red?
I was actually a little surprised here, like I thought we were going to have a moment of kind of like some Schwartziness, like the kind of like maybe the lightsaber went limp or something like that. Maybe the red starts coming out and then the blue starts coming back because she changed her mind about it, and maybe kind of a back and forth like woo, woo, woo. Like I couldn't care, bro. I don't care about Osha. Like Carrie Kelly says here, at this point, no one cares about Osha or May. It was like, yip-de-doo, Basil, cool. It was very underwhelming, and Basil. An undeserving yet beautiful moment. You could kind of say that the lightsaber was kind of cool, how it was changing back and forth, but like I don't care about it. I could care less. Like honestly, boom. I was just
Are any of you surprised she didn't take Kamir's hand and accept that she's a Sith?
Well, again, she doesn't know what she wants, so that's why the lightsaber should have came back to blue again. She didn't take his hand, or
right. If the show was correct, you would just see it like blue,
and then at the very end,
yeah, it just explodes. It's like, what does she want?
And then she's like, "What is this?" And it does this dangling thing, and then Kamir's like, "Memories."
Right. Well, as we know, the Jedi have arrived, and because Kamir has his helmet off at this moment, what do you know? Vernestra senses him, and she's like, he's still alive? And pretty much knows everything that's gone on at this point now, so they're heading towards the temple, but Basil comes walking behind the Jedi group and lets her Padawan Mog know what's been going down, and how he tried to stop Soul from... I don't know what he's trying to stop Soul from doing. But,
you know what could have been darker if they really wanted to make the Jedi horrible? If she just knocked out Soul, she couldn't kill him. Then she wouldn't be a Sith, I guess. But have the Jedi, what's her name? The green one? Renestra, have her come there, see Soul barely alive, and then she kills him with a Force choke. Because if they're making her bad, might as well go bad all the way.
Might as well, why not?
It's a random thought.
But, she senses them. She's on the way. The girls know they need to escape. So she, May takes Osha down the little tunnel, the core tunnel that she got sucked out through the first time. And Vernestra, as she finds Soul's body, she's able to sense everything that happened 16 years ago through a Force echo. And but she also senses that maybe lurking above her former Padawan Kamir is looking down upon her. He's he's feeling all the
Right?
motions from previous. Like you tell, there's no love there. You know, he wants to come after her. So that will definitely be something that is being set up in season 2 for them.
And how did he get there? Wasn't he with the twins?
He was, but I think he put on his helmet. He's just like, hey, you girls.
Hey,
on your
I
own.
forgot something.
Yeah. Well, we know he just disappeared like Batman, you know. But May and Osha, they find themselves at the Punta tree, and Osha apologizes for not believing May. May apologizes for the fire that almost killed everybody. And then they start to say a rhyme. It's a big, all happy moment. They're together. They love each other. But Kamir finds Osha and May. And the Jedi he says, if I could fight it, the Jedi are soon to follow. So Osha's like, okay, if I go with you, will you let my sister go?
Why?
Yeah.
Aren't they free to go anywhere? Didn't she just leave him in the forest when they were hunting the Wookiee Jedi? She already bounced from his control and leave, and he was solo. So why is he have the power to still hold her, and why does she need to make the sacrifice if going to the Sith is good now?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the funny part...
And Mind Wiper.
Yeah.
Why?
I would say the more awful part about this particular scene was the simple fact that the sisters finally get together and they're like, I'm never going to leave you again kind of thing. To the Jedi are coming, well, here's the thing, sis. I'm going to go with this hunk over here who really, he wants me. He keeps saying he does. I'm going to go with him on a little vacation cruise. We're going to mind wipe you and just leave you here for the Jedi to arrest you. What do you think? Can I do it? We okay with it? You know?
She's like, yeah, I love you.
She's like, I love you. She's like, I'm not going to control you anymore. I'm going to let you do what you want. What do you want? What do you want, Osha? I want to get laid. And I want you to stay here and take the blame.
You know, I was kind of surprised. Kamir was like, you know, they're twins. They both can come, you know? Like, hey.
Right? The power of many?
The power of many, exactly.
Where's the power of many? You have the power one, you got the power two, and he's there. You got the power of many.
It would make sense if it was Leslie Headley, you know. But to me, it was like, it made no sense to wipe her mind, to leave her there, only for the Jedi to find her, arrest her. They know her mind's been wiped, at least not enough to where they couldn't fill in the blanks for her, because she pretty much knows everything that she did before other than the location. But the problem with that is Vernestra literally tells her, hey, I'm going to help you remember all these things, but I need your help. I need your help to find a Padawan of mine. So she still thinks May is somewhat going to be valuable in uncovering the secret of where her Padawan has gone. So everything that Osha and Kamir were trying to prevent is literally what they're going to use May for in the next season. So it's like, what was the point of mind wiping her? Why not just bring her along? If they're able to get away, why can't she get away with them?
Because clearly the Jedi can't find anything.
Yeah.
You had a free escape.
And here's the other thing. You know, technically these girls are, you know, they have the thread powers, you know, they have some thread capabilities. You know, what if we just start taking May around to places that we knew things happened? Will she start getting some thread echoes?
Damn, Corey. You're just going to continue with the thread echoes. All right.
It's garbage.
Yeah. So here's where it gets more annoying. As if the Jedi, more importantly, Vernestra, didn't learn the lesson with Soul from keeping secrets. She decides the best way, as Dane Cook used to say, the best way to handle a lie when you get caught is to put another lie in it. So, reach in your pocket, pull out another lie. Vernestra keeps up with a lie when she is at the Senate tribunal, and she's telling them, like, hey, it was Soul. Soul was the dick all along. He was a rogue Jedi that was very upset with himself about what happened 16 years ago. He did some shady shit, and he decided to kill the other 4 Jedi Masters that were aware of it, and kill some Jedi Knights along the way. And then because he blamed himself, he decided to commit suicide. He had, that's what happened. So the senator's like, that doesn't seem shady as hell to you? Like, we need that. Jedis don't commit suicide. Oh, sorry, I forgot. Tobin did for no reason.
Yeah.
I still can't figure out why Tobin committed suicide. What was so awful that he did.
I hated her character so much. I actually left when she started lying and she blamed it all on Soul, dude. Like, it pissed me off so much. The Jedi have no morals, specifically Vernestra. Like, if there is a season 2, it just needs to be a Senate or a Jedi military tribunal of them holding Vernestra accountable and then hanging her. They need to put her to death. Firing squad, whatever, for being a traitor to the Jedis. She lied. She lied to the Senate. She's lying to the Jedi. Boom.
Well, not only that, it just makes her look. It makes it seem like maybe she is a bit of a Sith herself, because we know just based on reactions, her sense of her former Padawan Khmer, she was the one that gave him the scars. It makes sense. Her whip lightsaber gave him the whip lashes on his back. So she punished her Padawans, which is something that the Jedi wouldn't do in the first place. So she's never acted out as a Jedi, and here we're getting this. Even we thought Soul was bad, we thought Indara was bad. Vernestra's worse, and to make it even worse, we get this little scene at the end with Khmer, Osha looking off in the sunlight. Very Star Wars ending. They hold each other's hands because somehow they love each other now.
They're like, love is allowed in being the dark side. That's a theme,
Yeah, I mean, it to me that doesn't matter. It's just a simple fact that why are they still like, their relationship doesn't matter. I'm okay with the Master Padawan thing because clearly she has to go along with the ride, but like, the dude was adamant that he wanted to kill her sister, which is partly why she was like, let her go, I'll go with you. So now I'm gonna sleep with this dude who wanted to kill my sister last, couple episodes ago. Like, what is
also
happening?
Kill her homies.
Yeah, and killed her homies, even though, who had nothing to do with what Soul did to her and her family. But hey, she's gonna sleep with him. He's good looking, why not? And
I think Plagueis is still in the caves.
Oh, he's watching the whole thing.
He's definitely watching. He's like,
this is how you make Jedi.
But anyways, our final scene is Vernestra. Corey, can you go to the next slide?
Yep.
Vernestra walks through a room and she says, Master, we need to talk. And we see two little green ears pop up. Ladies and gentlemen, the one part where Leslie Headland said Dave Filoni and other Star Wars aficionados wouldn't let her use Yoda, so that's why they had a Ki-Adi Mundi in it. And
that makes no sense still.
That's just a bald Yaddle. That's what that is.
That's Yaddle. Oh, maybe you're right, Corey. It could be Yaddle. No, it's definitely Yoda.
Why is you told?
I don't know. To me, having Yoda there, like, granted, we
Kato.
What's up, Kato? We knew that we had said that Yoda has to be around somewhere, right? He has to. And in a way, I kind of regret saying that, because I wish he wasn't around at this point anymore for this show. Because having him around, the dude who can sense when Anakin is killing Tusken Raiders, he senses when Order 66 happens and all the Jedi are getting wiped out left and right all over the galaxy from far away. And now we know that Yoda must know that Vernestra is lying to the Senate, that there is a Sith out there somewhere, and Soul didn't actually kill himself.
Or maybe this is Yoda. He's on vacation. Kashyyyk I've been on. My ties are... I don't know. Because, dude, the dude knows a lot of stuff as they happen. Like you said. It's like
He should have started force choking her right then and there.
How do you do? It's one of those moments where, like, yes, in
Yoda
Star Wars canon, he would have to be there. He would have to be around. He would have to know. But at the same time, it was almost better if he wasn't around. Just to protect us of Yoda's image at this point, because
he just listens to everything and lets them all happen.
Well, I just don't know how he doesn't question anything that is going on. I mean, we'll have to see how the conversation between him and Vernesha goes. Hopefully she tells him the truth, but if she does tell him the truth, we then get back to that issue of the prequel trilogy with freaking Ki-Adi-Mundi saying, like, the Sith, they haven't been around for over 1,000, of a millennium. If Yoda knows, then
maybe in this series they got mind wiped though.
A mind wipe that doesn't work that well, apparently.
I know, right?
I don't know. Senses when Anakin murders women and children as a Padawan still lets him become a Jedi Knight. Sure, yeah. I mean, it is a bit of a messed up moment. Mm-hmm. I mean, he senses something go on. He senses that there's pain and anger going on. He hears force echoes of it. But I don't see how. I mean, we're just making Yoda worse.
He addresses issues, though.
Yeah. Why does Yoda look older than Phantom Menace? I don't know. Guys, your thoughts?
Could be the lighting. I don't know.
Your thoughts about Yoda showing up at the end?
I don't really care at this point, honestly. I'm kind of like feeling you. I'm like, don't bring all these characters in because we're seeing what you're doing with your new characters that's part of the lore. Now you're getting these guys. It's the same like feeling I had when seeing Plagueis. It's like, oh, kind of wish it was in a different show.
You want to know what it was? Because Leslie Helen, maybe she lied about it. She originally said that she didn't get Yoda or like get beloved characters from that we know and love, right? She originally said that at the very beginning. Like Kojay's mentioned all along, there must have been a lot of post editing, and maybe there's a reshoot or a post maybe she does tell somebody this is a scene that she tells somebody, and then in order to try to get people interested, last ditch attempt in episode 8 to like, we're gonna put in Plagueis real quick and we're gonna put in freaking Yoda, to try to get people to get us over that hump to allow us to make a season 2. So maybe this is a last ditch effort and Yoda was just immediately placed in, because it's a great point what We Go Jinx says here. Yoda does look super freaking old here. So, maybe they just quickly tossed them in real quick, and that's what this is all about. It's their last ditch attempt to pray for a season 2.
I mean, I'm not praying nor holding my breath for a season 2.
No, that's Leslie Helen praying that she still has a job, failing upward.
Well, I mean, we'll have to see. I honestly, I don't know where I do know where they go with the show, but I know at this point it's only going to be a disappointment probably, because if they're going to go into the Darth Plagueis book, you got to do it right. And you know what that means? That means Kamir and Osha aren't the main characters. It's Plagueis doing his mad scientist things. I don't know. That's the way this season ends. They
didn't find that out until too late. That's the tragedy. That was the point.
Guys, if you had to score this, because I don't know about you, but I'm like pretty much at the point where like I'm just tired of the show. I've not been really looking forward to when we do our season overview and I have to rewatch all the episodes again. I'm kind of dreading it, to be honest with you. But
I'll support you, bro.
I appreciate that, Koj. I don't know. Maybe rewatching it and binging it all, I might understand. It won't. Nah, I don't think you'll understand. Koj, score.
2.
Didn't we already score?
No, I don't think we scored this episode.
I don't remember we scored, but I'll rescore it. It's 2.
It's 2.
No more, no less. Just 2.
The power of 2.
Because apparently it's not the power of many, because they ditched that by their own rules.
Been going back and forth because I've rated some episodes like in the 3s, 4s, and 5s, and then I've also rated it in the negative 10s, negative 100s, and such like that. And I've been thinking about this. I've been going back and forth. Like, what do I rate this show? What do I rate this, season and such like that? And this is probably going to be a precursor to my overall rating of the entire series. But the best way to explain it, I'm going to explain it like this.
I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
This show is not even worthy of points. Negative, pluses, not worthy of any points. Don't watch a show. And if you did watch a show, may God have mercy on your soul. This show is trash. No points. Nothing. I'm going to try to erase this from my memory. Can Khmer brain wipe me of having to watch this stupid season? That's my question. Like, I want to forget that this thing ever existed. Trash.
I like the space battle. I like the space chase, even though it ended up being dumb.
Oh yeah, it was pretty. That's why I gave it a solid 2, because fight scenes were fun.
The fight scene was cool,
and that space chase was cool looking. Lightsabers were pretty. I like the lighting in the show.
I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna give it a 2.8.
Yeah. Whoa, that doesn't make. So then your entire season scores are going to come down because you rated some things at 5s.
Yeah. Well, the first episode was my only 5. The first episode, and I think I gave it a 5.1, saying like, let's see what they do, and it just kept going down from there.
No points.
I do know 2 people who do like the show now. Outside of all this stuff. No. I know it's the people who like this trash the original Star Wars and definitely trash the prequels. And for whatever they like, I always notice that they just like it. Or a common theme that they like it out of harsh criticisms over George Lucas's world. Like some people like this Disney Star Wars thing. Not so much for me.
I'm loving the ratings, and I'm excited to talk about one.
Okay.
Should we get to the chat's ratings, Trey?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's find out.
Let's go.
Oracle's Clock Tower gave it a 1. Red Hooded Outlaw gave it a 0. Beyond the Night gave it a 1.5 for the fight sequence. And mind you, these are out of 10. The Butler, 0. Done with the show, he says. Trevor H, 2.2. Carrie Kelly says 3.2. The Batman Who Left says 2.9. 3.1 from 9 Lives in Hell here. 2.1 from Joker's Wild. Look at it, 1.8 from King Donkey Kong. We Go Jinx ranked this 2 out of 10. Fight scenes were great. Good Soldiers Follow Order, 0. Darth Star Killer Unleash gave it a 1. Wayne Enterprises gave it a 2.3. Kaiji Crazy Craig Rowland gave it a 3.5. Being Classified Monarchs Only gave it a 2. Bat Fanatic gave it a 3. Red Robin gave it a 3.7. Atomic Kaiju 1954, Akio Lee gave a 4. Hashtag Restore the Snyderverse guy gave it a 2.666 for Leslie. That's awesome.
That's a good mess.
Don Ramon gave it a 4.5, still in F. So I did miss one because I did want to get to it. I did want to talk about it. My boy Kato, he gave it, if Star Wars A New Hope is a 5, then this is a 5.
Wait, is that a 5 out of 5 or 5 out of 10?
I think Kato's saying 5 out of 5. So
it'd be a 10 to him.
Not So not to
but
didn't
Kato say George Lucas's original Star Wars sucks ass anyway? So like I can't even take
that's an interesting point. So you're gonna have to defend yourself here, bro. Kato, come on, buddy.
By your standards,
Kato doesn't even like the original Star Wars. He said it
Maybe
himself.
He's saying
if the writing is atrocious. So I guess that makes sense, Kato. Anyways, guys,
let me know what you're saying, buddy.
Okay, so for the most part, everyone's below a 5. Other than I'm assuming Kato's 5 out of 10 as well. And if he's not, then he can't be serious.
Kato's asking for some baby powder right now. That's what he's doing.
Is he asking for baby powder? Because if he wants to slap himself like Soul did, like okay. Anyways, we'll do our season overview. Was it worth it? Season 2 predictions. If God, we do go that route, or if it's possible for season 2 to make season 1 better and this show better. I don't know. We'll give this one last chance. I'll update our scores. And we'll get back to you guys. But
sure, I'm just going to throw it out there for you to kind of think about. But obviously we, us three, know how we feel about the show. If Kato, my boy Kato's up to it, I would love to see him pop on for the stream and kind of defend something. It'll probably go wildly crazy and everything like that. Like our conversations.
I feel like that stream would be hours upon hours long.
Yeah, I think it'd be a long.
We could get some Hooters, like old time's sake. Get some chicken wings and go to town.
Yeah, I'm already gonna say no.
It'd be a 6-hour stream. It'd be fantastic.
I'm already gonna say no.
Those
are hours that I will never get back of having to discuss this show any longer.
It'd be well spent with you guys and Kato.
I mean, agreed, but I'd rather talk about something actually like I enjoy and like is fun. I'm ready to get back to like content that is
I feel you there.
Enjoyable. Like some stuff we got going on later tonight. But before we get to that, our boy Koj, what do you got coming up, big fella?
Koj.
Hey, I guess more watch parties. That's what we like. Definitely August 2nd. Yeah, that Friday, Train to Busan. We're kicking off with that and going on to the next one after that. I'm really excited to do that, and I know a bunch of y'all battalion are going to enjoy this one, and already signed up in your hearts to go see it. So I'm looking forward to that one, and just more of my content, my opinions in Koj's Corner, and more gameplay stuff. So yeah, that's some fun stuff you can see on my channel. I do appreciate you guys coming through, and I look forward to when you guys show up on my channel all the time, especially for Super Sentai Aba Ranger, which we're going to be getting into, and you guys will probably see that probably debut in August as well. So a lot of fun stuff. I'm excited to see you there. So thank you for always supporting me and giving love to what I do. I appreciate it.
Hey, buddy, we're always here. We're always here to support the Delta Squad, and we appreciate you, especially sticking it out with us on this show and bringing some cool thoughts to it. I mean, honestly, the parts I enjoyed were partly because of the watch parties we've done with you of like martial arts and the wuxia films that I've seen some of that choreography again in a Star Wars universe. I was kind of like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like we were kind of getting into this world now. So I appreciate you so much. So guys, please subscribe to our boy Koj. You will not be disappointed. He's doing some cool game streams and watch parties over there of some films you probably have never seen before too, that I know I haven't seen, and one with actually Jung Jae Lee, right?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect thing.
We got two with him along with the guy.
No, Lee Jung Jae.
Lee Jung Jae.
Nope. Kato just texted me. He said he did mean 5 out of 10.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. That's better.
So okay. So he. I know he didn't like it. So you were right, Trey. He's saying that if he's giving Star Wars A New Hope a 5 out of 10, then Acolyte is 5 out of 10 too. So he wasn't a.
But see, here's the funny shit about. No, I'm not even going to argue that right now. Just damn it, Kato. Like, why are you arguing with me about a 5 out of 10?
Trey, we've spent hours, like literally, there's probably thousands of hours of us and Kato Friday nights, just from eating dinner together.
I know, but if you're gonna argue, Kato, at least bring a cigar with you, like some wings, like how we used to. At least like give me something to like energize myself with this stuff. This blue Tuscan ain't doing shit no more. But guys, seriously, I just want to thank everyone for sticking out with us with Star Wars: The Acolyte. If you love the show, or if you're like Kato, where it's somewhere in the middle, write in the comments. Replay crew, like seriously, you're not gonna get bullied here. Write in the comments why you like this show. If you do like this show, don't like come at us attacking us. Just tell us why you like it, okay? Because I'm not going to attack you back. In fact, you might open my eyes that when I do our season overview, where I adjust all my scores based on how I now see the entire story arc of season 1, you might change my mind when I rewatch it again, because God knows I don't want to at this point. This is one of the first shows that I really have not wanted to rewatch.
Are you going to rewatch it?
I have to, Corey. It's an integrity thing. I have to rewatch it, see the entire story arc, know where we're coming from, point A to point Z, and like go with it. But guys, we have some cool shows coming up for you.
Question: in that full season breakdown, are we going to talk about a certain someone, and that certain someone being Dave Filoni?
We can talk about that. Yeah, I know that's been a conversation. Is Dave Filoni, is he starting to show the cracks of not being the right leader for Star Wars? We will discuss that in our season.
Or if he is at all the leader,
or that
anymore.
Yeah,
maybe someone else is.
Maybe Kathleen Kennedy is still pulling the strings and telling him what needs to go and what needs. I mean, because. I think
Disney's the Sith. They operate like that. We don't know who the real leader is. We just see their apprentices now and then and who they allow.
Yeah.
Or advertisers in charge.
But we do have some cool shows coming up for you guys later today. Hopefully, I'll be able to finish our Twister spoiler-free movie review today for you guys to check out with the Wonder Wife and I. We recorded one last night. We did. We recorded it last night, and I just need to edit it now. So I'm excited for you guys to see that one. It was a cool movie to see. And then of course, Super Bro Corey and I will be doing a spoiler review some point. I'll discuss with him about how he wants to do that, because it sounds like he wants to change up rather it being recorded to be live. I don't know, but we also later tonight. We'll be having our Angels in the Outfield.
Did he make me a slide? Oh, there it is.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Oh, you're playing with it while I'm playing with it.
Boom! The 30th anniversary. See, not everything on Disney's bad. We will be continuing our series of favorite movies from our childhood. We will be doing Angels in the Outfield. Which, oh man, I love this movie. So I've actually been searching for it anywhere on the internet. I actually thought about doing something I never do, which is look in like areas where it's like been pirated, because I couldn't find it anywhere. So
it's a tragedy when you have to look so hard for a movie that's loved.
Right? It's a great film. If you guys have not seen it, it's a feel-good movie, which I feel like is what I kind of need after a show like this, and I'm just excited to share something that was beloved from my childhood and share it with you guys. So make sure you guys set your reminders for tonight at 8:30 p.m. Eastern in like 4 hours. We're gonna have a good time. Or no, I think it's at 8:45 p.m. Eastern. Yeah. So join us there. Set your reminders. But guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We appreciate you. Corey, can you say thank you to everyone who gave us a super chat earlier today?
Oh yeah, we're gonna give a huge shout out to Arnaud, Hervé, and our boy Beyond the Night for standing up against tyranny. And people who think it's fun to not have any worthwhile comments.
Apparently.
But guess what, guys? I'm seeing angels.
They're always watching. Have a wonderful night. See you tonight with Angels in the Outfield watch party. Hope you guys have Disney Plus because that's what you're going to need to watch it to celebrate the 30th anniversary of this classic sports film. It's family friendly, so you don't have to worry about any curse words or anything like that, but I think you guys will enjoy it. So, guys, here's to you. Be kind to each other. Be nice. Let your opinions be heard. Don't bully anyone. And as always, don't forget to smash that like, share this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. I am your host, Trey, with our boy, Koj, and Super Bro, Corey, the Sith sympathizer himself.
Nope, I'm a Jedi now.
Oh, Corey's sorry, yeah, Jedi are evil. It's based on a point of view. Guys, don't forget to tune in weekly.
Same bat time.
Same bat channel.
Hey, see you guys later for Angels in the Outfield. Woo! We out.